Come on in. Come on in. I had to end the live, the other live that I had, so come on in. Like, share, subscribe. Let me get my... Y'all come on in. I'm going to get my equipment. Y'all know how I do. Try to do something different today. Ran into all kinds of technical issues with the StreamYard. I think it's messing with the live stream. So we're going to stick with what we do. Come on in. Come on in, like the video, like, share, and subscribe. We're getting set up. Come on in, come on in. Good morning, come on in. Like, share, and subscribe. We had some issues with the first stream that I had going, but that's fine. Come on in, like, share, subscribe. I got a lot of things to talk about with you today, so I had to jump back to what I know works, my phone. This is why I use my phone, because I don't be having them type of problems that I have when I use StreamYard. So you all come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I want to see if any of my mods come on in, because I have to do something. Come on in. Come on in. We got some things to talk about. We're going to talk about Elon Musk and the major losses that he's having. Hi, Rich. What's up? We got some things to come through to talk about. Elon Musk, he's down bad. Y'all listen, he down bad. There y'all go. Listen, I tried to go through StreamYard through my laptop because there was some things I wanted to show you, but that's all right. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. We're going to talk about it. Listen, Elon losing money. He says, Sheik, I need for you to spread the word. I need for you to spread the word that I'm losing. So you ask how these first 100 days been. Listen, Sheik, I done lost a lot of money, Sheik. I've lost a lot of money effing around with the president. Come on in, you all, like the video, like, share, and subscribe. We need to talk about how Elon, you losing $1 billion a day. This man's like, listen, I have lost $1 billion a day in these first 100 days. So if this man have lost it, listen, today night, day number 98. Remember, it's 100. Tuesday will be day 100. Today is day 98. Day 98. It has been reported Elon Musk has lost over $1 billion per day in the first 100 days of Trump taking office. For someone to be able to lose that type of money, you really got to think about how much money they have to even lose that type of money. He still got a lot of money. So, but he's taking a loss. He's lost already. His net worth have declined by $122 billion. His net worth, he has lost $122 billion trying to be a politician. When trying to do politics go wrong. When trying to do politics go wrong. Because this man wasn't losing money like this when he was just focused on sending people to outer space and making electric vehicles. He wasn't losing money like that. He wasn't. But when he stepped into the White House and wanted to try to put a blazer on and act like somebody voted him in, this is what happened. This is what happened. His net worth has declined by $122 billion. Tesla's net income have plunged by 71% in the first quarter. 71%. Y'all come on in here, like this video, like, share, and subscribe. Gary says, and yet fools damage Tesla. Have y'all heard that some people are embarrassed? They don't want people to know that they driving Teslas. So y'all, what they doing? And they taking the emblems off of their Teslas and replacing it with like something else. This is what I heard, like learned in the media. This what people are doing because they don't remember. I've been covering some weeks back. I was covering how people were damaging the Tesla vehicles. So to I guess to protect their property, they had been removing the Tesla emblem. I don't know if it was working for some people because Tesla's cars, to me, I mean, their body style, they're very unique, especially that ugly truck. So ain't nobody else got an ugly truck like that. So I don't know how that's working out for the Tesla truck. But with the cars, it still kind of got a unique type look to it. So I don't know if that's been working out for the people. But yeah, I don't know if they was replacing them emblems with a Honda. If they was putting an H in place of the T. I don't know. I guess alphabet. We just can't do this T. We can't do this T that's on this car. Listen, folks taking L's, and it's not just the working class people. Regular people are taking L's as well. Come on in, like the video, double tap the screen. Good morning, good morning, good morning. The money you never get. Let's see. Look. Barbara said Elon is a patriot. Obviously, money doesn't mean as much as a country. I love Trump and Elon. Those who are damaging these cars need to go to prison. I do believe. I do believe that yes, if you're damaging people's property, yes, you need to be dealt with. You need to be dealt with. Let's see. Thank you for the super chat, kid. Yes, I believe you need to be dealt with. You cannot be damaging people's property. Elon Musk, he said he's working for the country. But at the same time, I do feel like he is bothered by losing so much money. I've listened to him speak about it multiple times, and I pick up that yes, yes, who wants to lose money like that? Who wants to lose money like that? But again, he signed up for taking on this role or whatever it is that he was doing with doing the Doge and the auditing and things. But I truly believe that he did not think in a million years that it would have the impact that it has had on his brand. I don't think that he thought that it would have the impact that it had on his brand. To be honest, if we keep it real, any of us today where we're standing on day 99 did not think that we would just be here just in any type of way since Trump took office, whether it's good or bad. It's just very different. It's very different. And I talk about on this channel the major changes that have taken place as a result of him being in office. Most of these changes I am here for, especially with the immigration. Listen, child, I voted on that man because I voted for him because this immigration issue is out of control. It is like it's out of control. You watch the news, it's out of control. I want to go live on StreamYard because I wanted to share a video talking about like immigration and things like that, with just how they're just, the behind the scenes on what they're doing when it comes to immigration and rounding people up. And they're doing it in large numbers. They're doing it in large numbers. So I'm here for that because I feel like things have just gotten so out of control with us having these borders open. Like, what is going on? Like, there's no other country that does this. And as a result of these borders being open like this, it's brought in a lot of criminals and crazy people to where a lot of American people, they're not here with us anymore. They're not here with us anymore. And a lot of it is due to at the hands of illegal immigrants who have come into our country and lost their everlasting mind. First of all, these folks was already nuts when they came. They was already nuts. Many of them left their country because they was running from just something. So they was already nuts. So the nuts then came into our country and just wowed the heck out and have taken lives of a lot of American people, especially women, females. Most of the stories, you all, that I hear, about the things that have happened to the American people at the hands of an illegal immigrant, it's violence onto a woman. It's violence onto a woman. I haven't heard a story that, had made headlines, or a mom giving her testimony and she's speaking on violence that took place on her son. And that hasn't happened. It's been on women, violence on women. So yes, like this is out of control. It's out of control. It's out of control. So yes, that was my primary. Everybody had their reasons on why they supported who they supported, and my number one was the immigration. It was the immigration because it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't even need to hear any more stories about a mom and her daughter losing her life at the like I don't even need to hear any more stories to know that this is a whole problem. And for people to hear these stories and then just be on the corner with their signs caping for these people to stay here, I don't get that. I don't get that. Dr. J, I need to step away for a minute. Please welcome the people. You all double tap the screen, double tap the screen. We got some things to get into. We're going to talk about how Elon Musk is losing billions of dollars a day. A day. And we're going to talk about Trump and his financial situation and how these things that he's done, how it's impacted his bottom line. And we're going to we're going to talk about just the regular working class people, how our lives have been impacted. Let me know in the comments, because I started a poll on my last live. I had to end it due to technical difficulties, but that's all right. We're going to still keep the show going. I hopped on my phone. I want to know, how do you feel about the first 100 days with Trump being in office? Are you satisfied? Are you happy with his performance thus far? Because today is day number 98. Tuesday will be officially day number 100. Are you happy with how he's performed? Or are you like, no, Sheik, I'm not? Let me know. Put it in the comments. Are you here for it? Are you happy with the performance for the first 100 days? Are you happy with it? Are you not happy? Yes, Sheik, I'm happy. No, Sheik, I'm not happy. Let's talk about it because it's here. These other lives that I've done, I constantly remind, hey, we're not even 100 days in, child. Like, I know it feel like it, but it really hasn't been that long. But there's been so much movement going on because literally when he got in office, he took off running. He took off running in a way that none of us had ever seen before. So it felt like he's been around for much longer than he has. But it's just because of just how aggressive he came out with, he immediately just got to moving. He got to moving, and we weren't used to seeing that. Y'all, how many times we've seen politicians talk about it but don't be about it? They run on stuff and they say, I'm going to do this, that, and the third, and don't do a dang thing. How often have you seen that happen? This is probably like one of the very few times where we literally had someone come in, many of us voted for him, and he came in and doing everything that he said he was going to do. Even the Democrats said, be like, one thing about that fool, he might be crazy, but he's standing on business. He doing everything that he said he was going to do. You all, I heard Representative Jasmine Crockett out of Texas say that in an interview. I was like, wow, if the Democrats can even acknowledge that, for y'all over here looking crazy, he did run on that. He did say he was going to do that. Kamala even know that. She out here going laughing, low-key laughing. He's doing what he said he was going to do. I think the part that many people, including myself, the part that we weren't ready for is how aggressive it came. It's just like, whoa. Okay. I know you said you were going to get this issue under control. I know you said, but baby, I didn't know it was going to be like that. I didn't know you was going to be boots on the ground like that. Like literally day one. Like, so I think that's why the world is clutching their invisible pearls, is because of it's the energy that's back behind everything that he's doing. He's like, yo, like, yeah, I said I was gonna do it. I didn't outline my plan on how I was gonna do it, but I said I was gonna do it. So this is what you all are seeing. Y'all seeing. So that's why I asked, Are you happy with what has transpired in the first 100 days? Is he making you happy? Is he doing the very things that that you heard him say he was going to do that maybe got your vote? Or what about those who didn't vote for him? Is it working out in a way to where you like, see, this is why I didn't want to vote for him, because I was listening and he said he was going to do that and I wasn't here for that. So therefore I did not vote for that. You see what I'm saying? So this is the conversation. This is the conversation that needs to be had, because it goes both sides. But back it up. So they still not deporting enough people. Back it up. I was going to show this article, this news clip. I may be able to just turn my phone around and show it, but it's the ICE. They're calling it the tidal wave of arrests. Nearly 800 illegal aliens have been arrested in the state of Florida. How many of y'all in Florida? Because already this month, that he was supposed to be rounding up about 500,000 of them this month. I think this month, let me see, we're in April. It might be in May, but he had announced it a few weeks back. He gave them almost like a 30 days notice to kind of get ready to raise up on out here or go ahead and leave on your own. But this is in the state of Florida. He had already put out there maybe about three weeks ago that he was going to round up about 500,000 illegal immigrants in the state of Florida. In the state of Florida. So, but y'all know recently a judge stopped him from doing deportations. Y'all know he be putting people on them one-way Spirit flights to El Salvador to take them to CCOT. Remember, about a week ago, a judge stopped that. I think it was last weekend. I might have reported on it over the weekend, where a judge came in and said, no, we're going to put that on hold. So right now, ICE, they are still rounding people up, but they're not putting them on planes. I repeat, ICE is still out here working, rounding people up, but they're not putting them on planes because there's a hold. It's blocked by the judge. The judge is saying, no, you can't do that. So they're like, oh, wait, fine. We're not going to put them on planes, but we're still rounding them up because we have faith that at the end of the day, we'll win and we'll be able to put them on planes and send them where they need to go. So that's why they have these, what are they calling them? These immigration holding, they have these detention centers. They're building up. I've talked about it before on this channel. Y'all make sure you follow me because I talk about a lot of stuff in detail, things that mainstream don't talk about. But I do a lot of research. So I be in like different news outlets, mainstream plus the underground news, the smaller media channels that not backed by the machine to where they can really put the news out there. But there's these detention camps, like these places, these immigration detention camps that are popping up in the USA. And what's happening is that as they're going out and they're rounding up people, they're putting them in these places. Like I said, Florida rounded up nearly 800. This was a video that I was going to show you all. I may be able to still maybe show it from my phone, but we'll see how it goes. But they're still working. They're still rounding people up. Even though they're not sending them away, they're still rounding people up. And we're seeing even judges. There's been 2 judges within the past week, this week, who've been arrested for helping to harbor illegal immigrants, for helping them to leave the courthouse to escape, because if ICE knows that illegal immigrants are showing up at a particular place, whether they showing up to the jailhouse, whether they showing up to the courthouse, ICE is on their tails. ICE is there. The ICE is waiting in the parking lot. ICE is in the lobby. ICE is in the lobby. So some of these officials, I'm going to go on a limb and say they probably, on the Democratic side, they're not here for ICE rolling up on them. They're like, yo, you don't have any business here. This is my jurisdiction. So they're not trying to cooperate. So there was a judge. Her name was Hannah. I can't remember her last name, but you all seen her. She was a woman, a white woman. It was a illegal immigrant at her courthouse. She was presiding over a case. He was there for domestic violence, child. He had beat up the man and his woman. He done two-pieced the man and the woman. Like he gave them both the business and put them in a hospital. They both got their little self together, mustered up the courage, I guess wrapped themselves up in some bandages, and sure enough came to that courthouse to tell their version of what happened. and hope that this man is dealt with, and hope that something happens to him for him inflicting violence onto them. Remember, he was an illegal immigrant. ICE can't learn that that man was there. ICE came there. The judge, Hannah, she got upset. She took the man, the guy who was there, on the violence charge, on the domestic charge. She took him to the back with his attorney and let them go out the back door. And the Democrats, I was watching some videos, they are so upset because the headline reads, "Oh my God, I can't believe Trump is arresting judges. How can he arrest a judge? How we finna skirt over a judge letting a criminal out the back door?" So we ain't finna talk about that part. We only gonna talk about the part where the ICE showed up and said, "Here, let me holler at you." We gonna talk about that part, but we don't want to talk about how a judge let a criminal out the back door. ICE then was able to eventually catch up with him. They arrested her. They arrested her, rightfully so. When has it ever been okay to go against the law, regardless of whatever political stance that you got? People who think that they're above the law and who think that they can't be touched do stuff like that. And a lot of times, them ones who ain't used to laws applying to them, child, they don't be looking like me, because y'all, we know all the laws, then some apply to people that look like me. We don't get no passes. Hannah was a white woman. She was a white woman, a privileged woman, a woman that clearly shows that she's accustomed to just doing what she want to do. Because somebody who knows that there are laws, rules, regulations that you got to adhere to, and there's consequences, ain't no way they going to think about letting a criminal out the back door. But that's what she did. That was what she did. Hey, Serenity said, who was the couple? I'm not quite sure who the couple was, but it was a man and a woman that this man had just beat very badly and put them in the hospital. The man, I think they said he hit him with something in his head. He hit him like 60 times or something like that. But he and the woman both ended up in the hospital. But they mustered up the courage to show up to the court case, to testify against this man who did this violence onto them. But the judge was there protecting the criminal versus the victims. Her allegiance was to the criminal. Like, oh no, like, she let the man go, y'all. They arrested her. She out now. She out now. But they arrested her. They arrested her. So she's somewhere, I guess, having to wait on her little court date. David said the fact that she is a judge, that just makes her look worse. Right. Then there was another judge. It was a male judge in New Mexico. So she was in Wisconsin. Miss Hannah, the judge, Hannah, look it up. She was in Wisconsin. The male judge was in New Mexico. He had one stand on his property, him and his wife. So they rolled up on him and the wife and arrested both of them. So they done rounded up the illegal immigrant plus him and his wife. He had resigned like back in March or whatever, but that still didn't make no difference. They still rolled up on him. Sir, what are you doing? This is illegal. This is illegal. James Bell said that judge committed felonies. Prison should be the only option. Right. This is the same judge. Both of these judges, how many people have come before them for committing laws, and their reason for maybe committing breaking the law, committing crimes, and their reason for breaking the laws was because they felt like that law, they just felt like it wasn't favorable for them, so they didn't want to abide by it. You think them judges gave them a pass because they felt like the law was stupid and they felt like they shouldn't have to adhere to it? Hell no. What judge that's running around letting people go because of their emotions about said law? Where they do that at? A law is a law, regardless on whether you like it or not. It is what it is. It is what it is. So the judge, both judges who let these people just run amok out here, They just was doing it because simply they didn't like the laws, because it is a law, the executive order. These are laws that President Trump signed in when he took office. So these are judges that are saying, hey, I don't like those laws. So because I don't like those laws, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do what I want to do. For us working class people, that don't hold up to us. That don't hold up for us to not adhere to a law because we don't like it. We don't like it. Executive orders may not be a law, but when he put them in place, it's federal. Like, listen, y'all got to argue that in the courthouse. And maybe that's where the confusion coming from, is because when he's signing these executive orders, these are federal laws that have to be adhered to. So the people who are saying they're not laws, these are the ones that happen to meet up in court. These are the ones that are stuck in situations. They're stuck in situations. Because if president is signing something and saying, "Hey, I'm putting this," these are rules, these are things that must be abided by. So this is where the blur lines are coming in. This is where the blur lines are coming in, because based off of what Trump is signing in, he's saying, "Hey, you need to adhere to this." But people aren't adhering to it. So you got the back and forth, and then you got things having to go up to the Supreme Court and all of that. So, yeah, I'm always on the side of truth. President Trump, when it comes to this illegal immigration, he's standing on what makes sense, what's common sense. It's not common sense to just have open borders for any and everyone to just come through and just do what they want to do. We got enough crime popping off in this country with just the American citizens. Why we want to sign up to have more people come in bringing more crime in it? Like, that makes no sense. For someone to be like, well, we got people here that's doing crime. Exactly, which is why we don't need no more. That's why we don't need any more crime, right? Because we got enough popping off that we got to deal with. It's not common sense to say, oh, well, just because we got crime already popping off, that it's okay to bring more. When has that ever made sense? That don't make sense. That don't make sense. That's the reason why. That's the very reason why we want to get these borders under control, because we got to get under control what we got popping off already. We don't need no extras coming up in here for us to now got to focus on and pivot and focus on what's popping off with the people who are illegally coming in, because our plate is already full. Our plate is full. We already got to clean up home as it is. There are no visitors for now. There's no visitors for now. We have to clean our house up. We're closed. That's basically the message. We're closed. We got work to do. We got work to do. What I do know that makes sense is that President Donald J. Trump is the president of the U.S. and what he's saying, these things that he's signing, these orders or executive orders, the things that he's signing while he's in office, the expectation is for them to be adhered to. And if they are not, then he's cutting off your water. He's cutting off your funding. And you got to just deal with us in court. Talk to the judge about that. Talk to the judge about that. Because clearly he got some type of clout, some type of power, because you see many people who are acquiescing to what he's saying. You see people who are saying, all right. You see a lot of people who are falling in line. And then the ones who are choosing to not fall in line, guess what? They're having to duke it out in the courts. They're having to duke it out in the courts. It's not like they can say, oh, I'm not going to listen to him, and then it's not something that's being dealt with somewhere else. So clearly there's some type of power or control that he has. Because when they're choosing to not oblige, there's other levels, there's other court proceedings and things that are coming involved. So it's not like, okay, what he's doing that he ain't got the power to do. No. No, he do have power to do these things. Just like he done rolled these people up already, hundreds, thousands of people. I don't even know what the count is as of today. I think it's been thousands. I might have reported on it. It's been about 20,000 illegal immigrants rounded up since Trump has been in office. So he got some type of clearance to do something if he doing stuff like that. Don't argue with me, argue with your mama. He got some type of clearance. If he moving weight like this, he moving like this. Oh, he got some type of clearance. He got something. Because you see all these people out here pissed off and mad saying someone needs to stop him, someone needs to stop him. Clearly, he's able to do it because here's the thing. If he can't do what we've been seeing him do, how has the ish been getting done? And people on the sidelines crying about it. If he couldn't do it, then he wouldn't have been, it wouldn't even gone that. This man ain't in nobody jail for breaking nobody laws or nothing like that. People are pissed off at what he's doing, but he hasn't broken the law by doing it. He ain't locked up. He just going before these different judges who playing in y'all face talking about, all right, y'all, I'm going to give him 2 weeks to get his act in order. Then we going to review it again. He playing with y'all. The reason why these judges keep adding additional time on it because they know they can't do anything. Think about it. Think about how many passes that administration got where the people come back, the judge say, all right, Trump, I'm going to give you 2 weeks. And I need for you and your team. How many 2 weeks have y'all seen that administration get? I laugh every time I hear it because I know the reason why they keep throwing this extra time on there is because they know they can't do anything. Really think about it. If they look at Trump been in there since what, January 20th, 98 days. Look at all the ish that he's done. That man still ain't got arrested, clean. You ain't seen nothing happen to him. Why? Remember, y'all saying, oh, it ain't law. He can't do this. He can't do that. He did it. He did it. And all these other judges are saying, why you keep doing, they're just having, it sounds like your child keep doing the same thing over and over again. And you just keep having this conversation with them. And then after the conversation ends, they go back and do the same thing over and over again with them. This is what's happening. They're having conversations because they're trying to appease the people who are upset with how he's moving. They know there's nothing that they can do because he is the president and he has the right to do the things that he's doing. Because if that were not true, they would have dealt with him. He would no longer be sitting in that White House like that. Really think about it, y'all. They playing in y'all face as they keep telling y'all, all right, we're going to review it. We're going to send it up to this person. They're passing the bucket. The reason why they're passing the bucket is because they know it's nothing they can do about the things that he is doing. They're passing the bucket. And people are pressing them like, yo, judges, I need for you to call him in contempt. I need for you to do something. Just do something. Why aren't you doing anything? Those are the people who are screaming because nothing's been done towards him. Because he clearly ain't done nothing wrong. If he did something wrong, they would have dealt with him weeks ago, months ago. How long have people been going to the court complaining about this man to the judge and all of that? And how many times have y'all heard these judges give him extensions on, okay, well, we gonna talk about it on Friday. All right, then. How about next Wednesday? We gonna talk about it then. Yeah, we looking at it. Okay, we gonna raise it. Y'all see, they finna do this to y'all for the next 4 years while he's in office. Y'all's gonna be sitting on the edge of y'all seat waiting for him to be dealt with because they're going to continue to string you along by telling you, okay, we're going to review it. Give us 2 weeks. 2 weeks come. All right, another 2 weeks. Like, y'all, I've even peeped that game. Y'all ain't peeped game where these judges keep giving extensions. When have y'all seen that happen for a regular person who is breaking the law and them getting constant extensions? You don't see that, right? They're dealt with on the spot. They dealt with on the spot. Thank you, Jerry, for the subscription. They're dealt with on the spot. But Trump, why aren't they dealing with him on the spot? Think about it. Why aren't they not dealing with him on the spot? So for those of you saying he breaking the laws, he doing that, riddle me this. Why isn't he in jail? Why hasn't he been removed from his seat? Why hasn't he been impeached? These are the questions I have for you this Sunday. Why? How much more time do you need? How much more evidence do they need to show that he's out of order? If he's out of order, how long does it take for somebody to handle that, to fix that? If he out of order, because y'all saying he out of order. Okay, y'all saying he out of order. Why the freak he's still running ish and signing more executive orders every week? But he the one in the wrong. I'm saying you have to think about it. A lot of people out here are being played with, and they know if they keep telling you we're reviewing it, we're looking at it, they're stringing you along. They're trying to give you hope because they don't want to come out and tell y'all we can't do nothing about it. He has the right to do something about it. So I said they can't. Hey, they watch CNN. Y'all, I told y'all better move around. I check into CNN. I'll tune in to CNN, Fox, or whatever. I check those news outlets out because I want to know what kind of information are they putting out there. That's why I move around and listen to different news outlets because I want to see like what kind of information is being put out there. And a lot of the mainstream news, in particular CNN, it's not true. They're just gaslighting you. They're making you think that they're about to do something and this man is wrong. I promise you all, this man is going to be in that position at least for the full 4-year term. While Democrats still talking about he wrong or we still working on trying to get him put out. The first 4 years that he was in office, they spent the whole time trying to get him put out. That ish didn't work. That didn't work, and it's not going to work this time either. It's not going to work this time either. He hasn't legally done anything wrong. That's why he's still sitting in that seat. Some of y'all got to work through that and them emotions centered around about that because it is what it is. It is what it is. You got to work through that. You got to make the best of this situation because that man, as long as he got a heartbeat, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He's taking this country in a different direction than where the heck it was underneath the Biden administration. Hell, even underneath the Obama administration, just Democrats, period. These are different type of times, but that's why I posed the question. How do you feel about the first 40, it's been 98 days today. How do you feel about the first 98 days? Tuesday be 100. Drop it in the put it in the chat. How do you feel? Are you satisfied with how he's ran the country? I know enough, Sarah, to know that he's still in his position, and if you are an American, he's still your president. I know that. I know when I put it in Google, who is the president of the United States, I know it's going to come up Donald J. Trump. I know that. I know he's still rounding up them illegal immigrants. I know that. I know he arresting judges. I know that. I know who hasn't gotten arrested since he been in his seat since January 20th, 2025. I know that. Like, share, and subscribe. So we're going to talk about the ish that I do know. And that's the part that many of you mad is because the ish that I just named off is facts. It's facts over feelings. So whatever you feel like is law that's not law, what we are seeing is that the ish that he's been doing, he's gotten away with because ain't nobody came and knocked on his door and rounded him up and put no handcuffs on him and took him. He ain't took a flight to El Salvador and CCOT. Jacob says Trump forever. So he is moving in the way in which it is aligning with law because those other judges have not been able to slap him with any charges that says otherwise. They're continuing to tell you, well, yeah, we're going to look into it. We going to look into it, y'all. We got y'all. Give us 2 weeks. We going to look into it. 2 weeks come around. All right, then, Trump, what y'all doing? Well, yeah, we still doing the same thing we've been doing. All right, then, well, y'all need to start. We going to look into it further. Come back in another 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? They plan. They're playing in your face. If he was so wrong, why hasn't they already put him in contempt? Like, really think about it. Y'all tell me, what's the logical reason as to why he has not been put in contempt of court? Remember, he put them people on the plane and sent them to El Salvador, and supposedly he did that against the direction of the judge. He still ain't being dealt with since nobody ain't still came and hit him with no charges or nothing like that when he did that. So explain that to me. Jay said he's done no wrong. Explain to me why no one has come into the White House and walked him out. Remember, he done all this wrong. The stuff he doing, the executive order, it ain't no laws. He doing whatever. He done all this wrong. He just wrong. But he still got his job. He still got his job, though. He still got his job. Chase said he's the executive and they have no right to tell him he cannot. Clearly, we can see from the actions, they haven't been able to do anything. So that's lining up with that. That is lining up with that he hasn't done wrong, because he is still continuing to do these things that you all say is wrong. Make it make sense. He wrong, but he's still doing these things, but y'all still saying he's wrong? Well, y'all know who is wrong. Them judges who are harboring illegal immigrants. They wrong. And guess what? They got arrested. Guess what? Donald J. Trump is still free. He has not been arrested since he's been in the White House. But he's doing wrong. He's breaking laws. Oh, okay. Y'all like the video? Hold on. I'll be right back. I got to go take care of something. Let me be right back. I am back. Let's see. Sarah says the U.S. has 3 branches of government. The executive branch is not supposed to have this much power. He is breaking laws. It makes me sad. People don't understand how the government is supposed to function. So what I have to say to that is, if he is breaking laws with doing what he is doing, why hasn't he been arrested? Why hasn't he been found in contempt of court? Why? Why do these different judges, these different systems keep saying, oh, we're going to continue to review it. We'll come back to you in 2 weeks. Y'all, this is what they're saying. So there got to be something there to where what he's doing isn't correct, isn't wrong, because he's not being dealt with. How long have people been saying he's in the wrong with how he's moving? Hell, Abrego Garcia been over in at the CCA or in El Salvador since March. So let's just go back then, and we're about to enter until May. So let's just take it back to March. Let's take it back to March. So if he was in contempt and he broke whatever law March, that's when he put them people on that first plane. The judge has said, don't send the people. He said the people was already in the air. That's been more than enough time for Trump to be dealt with for doing something wrong, I'd say. Yes, he's been arrested before, but he ain't been arrested for this since he's been the president of the United States. An arrest hadn't been found since then. So whatever you may have felt like he's done wrong or he was convicted of doing wrong before, I'm talking about January 20th and going forward. He has not been found guilty or charged with doing anything wrong since he's been in the White House. So the question is, has he done any damn thing wrong? Because we done seen people left and right getting arrested for doing wrongful stuff, like them 2 judges I done told you about. Judge Hannah and Judge, I think, what was the hell his name? Carlo, he was some man in Mexico. We done seen them get arrested, but we have not seen Donald J. Trump getting arrested since he's been the president of the United States. Stop and ask why. Based off of Hannah, you breaking down how it works or whatever with the different branches and things. How do you rationalize or explain why he hasn't been dealt with, why he hasn't been charged or prosecuted or anything if he did anything wrong. Because what you're saying, based off of the way everything works, he's wrong, but he hasn't been arrested. Okay, but we know who has gotten up out of here. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We know who has gotten up out of here, who gotten arrested. Hannah, Judge Hannah. We know who has gotten arrested. The judge in New Mexico. I don't know. His name might have been Carlos. Let me see if I got it in the notes on. I have them in the notes before me. Because there were 2 judges recently arrested. Yep, his judge Joe Cano. Somebody might have put in there. Judge Cano. Joe in New Mexico, the former judge Judge Cano and his wife Nancy were arrested by ICE on Thursday. They were both charged with a count of tampering evidence. Where is Trump's charges since he's been president with how he's been handling illegal immigrations? Where are his charges? Because I ain't seen them yet. Where are his charges? Where are his charges? He doesn't have any charges. Why? Because he hasn't broken the law. He hasn't broken the law. That's why he doesn't have any charges. He hasn't broken the law since he's been the president. If he has, they charge him. They haven't charged him. And my money is on, they're not going to charge him with breaking the law, and he's not going to be charged. He's not going to be prosecuted or nothing like that while he's our sitting president. I don't know where, many of you are. People from all over the world come in. People from all over the world come to my lives or whatever. But in the United States of America, Donald J. Trump is still the president of the United States, and he's able to be the president of the United States because he hasn't broken the law. Yeah. He hasn't been charged with breaking the law. Listen, don't be mad at me. Listen, I ain't make the laws list. They still got him in there, so I'm going off for the fact that he's still sitting. He's still sitting in the Oval Office. I'm just going off of that. He's still in that position. He's still in that position. He has not been shifted. They have not said that, J.D. Vance has replaced him because Trump is no longer, the sitting president. He's in trouble. No, that has not been no headlines. But remember, I talked about the Judge Hannah. Let me do a recap. So, a Milwaukee County Circuit judge, that's the Judge Hannah Dugan, has been charged with 2 criminal counts, including obstruction for allegedly helping an undocumented immigrant flee from the ICE task force. So, that is an example of someone who broke the law because why? She was arrested. Trump has not been arrested. Ted says, let's bet it's on Sarah Newfie. Listen, Sarah, Trump ain't been arrested, but Judge Hannah Dugan has been arrested. And Judge Joel Cano have been arrested. So, listen, don't be mad at me. I'm just saying. President Trump is still running the show. President Trump is still running the show. I wasn't the only one who voted him in to run the show. Many people voted him in to run the show, and that is what he is doing. Double tap the screen, like, share, and subscribe. I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. Todd Robinson said he has violated the law. He just hasn't been held accountable. Why hasn't he been held accountable? That's the question. Why hasn't he been held accountable? You're saying he broke the law, but he just hasn't been held accountable. Why? Let me know your thoughts as to why he hasn't been held accountable. Because we see plenty of other people get held accountable, but why hasn't President Trump been held accountable? What I'm saying is the reason why he's still been able to move about in these streets the way he has is because it's been determined that what he has been doing is legal, is lawful. Because if it wasn't, they would have dealt with him. They haven't dealt with him. So there is a reason why they have not dealt with him. Could it be it's centered around an aspect of the law to which it was determined that really he do have jurisdiction to be able to do this? We don't want to believe that he does, but he really does. So we're not going to come out and say that to the American people. We're just going to give them hope and say, we're looking into it. We'll get back to you. Give us 2 weeks. That y'all, 2 weeks gonna turn into 4 years. Before you know it, it's just gonna be time for to just if we have a new president, somebody else getting voted in. But it's not gonna be because they got rid of him because he broke a law. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Listen, y'all, it is what it is. I done told y'all they got what they call a tidal wave. The ICE got the tidal wave. They're arresting 800 illegal aliens in Florida. They're arresting 800 illegal aliens in Florida. And regardless if they can't ship them off anywhere, they're still rounding them up because guess what? They're here. They're unlawfully here. So how have you been feeling in the first 100 days? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Yes, they can't catch them fast enough. Nope. Hold on, let me put... Hold on. Or maybe I can do this. What are your thoughts? Let's talk about the first 100 days. Are you proud to be an American? The end said Trump 2028. Sarah says Trump is bringing things back to order. It won't be fun or pretty, but it needs to happen. Sarah, that other Sarah said he need to go jail. Sarah, the Sarahs aren't in line today. The other Sarah said, listen, Sheik, F what you saying, he need to go to jail. Somebody, Todd said, that's the smart Sarah. Welcome, Sarah. Are you an honor student? Like, share, and subscribe. Yes. Are you here for, what's taken place so far in the first 100 days? Is Elon Musk here for what has taken place in the first 100 days? Elon has lost on an average of $1 billion a day since Trump has been in office. But listen, Elon's sitting there, listen, I'm here to do God's work. I'm here to do God's work. Elon said, I'm here to do God's work. And yes, I'm taking a loss, but listen, it is what it is. I do believe that he is bothered by losing a lot of money. Like, who wouldn't, regardless of how rich you are? The goal is to make money, not lose money. But he's still stuck around. I think he's saying, he'll be leaving, and Doge should be finalized or whatever he came to do come May. So he said he's going to fall back. He might be around maybe a day or two a week, if needed. But he's going to go and focus on Tesla because, his net worth has declined by a staggering $122 billion. Tesla saw its net income plunge 71% just within the first quarter. So Elon definitely took one for the team when he came to the White House to help out Donald Trump. He took one for the team. He took one for the team. Dr. J said, God bless America. Elon isn't the only one who took one for the team and who took a big loss since Trump has been in office. Mark Zuckerberg have lost more than $23 billion. And Jeff Bezos have lost more than $37 billion. So a lot of people have, lost money in this process. A lot of people have lost money in this process. These are tough times. These are tough times, and the pain, they're growing pains. I've called it that a lot on this channel. I call it growing pains. These are growing pains that we are experiencing. And many of us, working Americans, we've been experiencing the growing pains. Some people have lost their jobs. Some people have lost their jobs. And then you have people who are struggling to just pay for just, the basic necessities that we need to live, such as putting food on the table, gas, things like that. But we have seen positive changes in some of these areas, like the eggs have gone down. Some places, gas, people have seen a decline in their gas prices. You all, I was hearing someone talk about, they were complaining about gas being expensive where they live in California. What is not expensive in California? Trump, like, listen, you can't put that on me. They were saying how like gas was like, it was like over $5 a gallon, which that is true. I was just in California and San Diego back in February, mid-February, like the week of Valentine's Day. And gas was like almost $6 a gallon. It was like $100 just to fill up a half a tank in the small rental car that we had. But what I learned, you all, and you all can let me know if you are from California, because I'm from California, but I left at like an early age. So they are saying that California charges 60% on gas. I think it's like on per gallon. There's a 60% like surcharge that they put on gas. So that's why their gas prices is like leaps and bounds above like the gas prices in other states. Whereas like I think right now the gas prices maybe between the maybe the 250 to maybe 350, but California is over $5 because this is something their state chooses to do. It doesn't have anything to do with the federal government, but their state chooses to assess this extra like 60% tax onto the gas. You all let me know if that sounds familiar, if you heard of that, because I was just hearing someone talk about that over the weekend, and I'm like, that's crazy, yo. Like 60% on top of whatever the gas price is. Like, that's insane. That is insane. How many of you are in California and you're experiencing paying gas prices like that? So Trump is like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Just like Trump is saying, like the interest rates for like housing and things, he doesn't control that. So there's some things that aren't in the President Trump's control, but then there's a lot that is in his control. Jeff says, what's insane is the tariffs. That's a tax on most goods. Listen, Trump said, listen, these tariffs are going to make us a lot of money. Tariffs makes us a lot of money. Tariffs actually, have been around since forever. Like, the tariffs has been a thing. It's nothing new. It's nothing new at all. Trump has just made the decision to basically increase the tariffs, but tariffs has been a thing. It's been a thing. He's like, yo, okay, we've been paying higher tariffs on these countries than what we've been requiring for them to pay us. So we about to change that. And many countries have decided to get in line with that. It's right now China, kind of that one country that's like, nah, like they're going back and forth. Trump's like, yeah, we're having conversations with China. China's like, no, we're not having conversations with that man. We're not talking to that man. But in other news, how many of you all have invested in the Trump coin? Any of y'all got the Trump coin out here? How y'all feeling about the Trump coin? How are you feeling about the Trump coin? I actually just learned about like this Trump coin that he's launched. He put out there in January. Jermaine said it's a scam. Y'all, I got a lot of notes on that Trump coin. I said, oh, it's a scam. Listen, he came out with the Trump coin, and then shortly after his was released, Melania came out one. She got her one too. So we're gonna talk about the Trump coin, because I'm like, okay, because it's in like the headlines right now. It's heavy in the media right now, this Trump coin. They're calling it a Trump meme coin. So let's talk about how Trump is the tactics he's using to raise money, which is bringing attention to the Trump coin. So the New York Times, so pretty much this information I'm going to share with you all is information that I gathered from, it came from New York Times. So keep that in mind as I'm sharing this information. The New York Times has reported that Trump offers private dinner to top 220 investors in the meme coin. So basically, Trump's like, hey, go out there, buy my coin. The top investors, the top purchasers can have dinner with me. The top 25 buyers, so remember, you got the top 220. So of the top 220, the top 25 buyers will win access to a reception with Donald Trump before the dinner and a VIP tour of the White House. One thing Trump gonna do is make some money. He like, listen here, go on buy that coin. Go ahead and buy that coin. Buy that coin. But here's what I got for you if you buy the coin. The headline reads that the Trump's team turned a dinner invite into a crypto boom with millions. With a crypto boom. Let me see. Hold on. Because, y'all, it's a lot. With millions. Let me see. Make sure I'm saying this in the right order. A crypto boom with millions. So, 27 wallets acquired more than 8 million Trump coins worth about 100 million. So what I learned is that at one point, like his sales was with the Trump coin wasn't up there like that. It started out strong. And then maybe some of y'all in here start saying it's a scam. People started kind of falling back from it. So how Trump reignited and brought attention back to the Trump coin. He offered this dinner like for the top 220 investors to be able to come and have dinner with him. And then the top 25 of them to be able to meet with him before the dinner. You see what I'm saying? So you can still meet with him at dinner, but you get his time also before dinner. So since he put this out there, after he put this offer out here, the coin prices surged more than 60% since its announcement of the opportunity to have dinner with him. 60%. Eric said it's a scam. 60%. So you all, this is all just new information to me. So as I'm just reading it and taking notes, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's the root? What are we doing here? What's behind all of this? The article said the sales of the meme coin is boosting the value of the crypto wallet owned by the digital firm affiliated with Trump's family business, the Trump Organization, by roughly $100 million. So Trump is making money. The family business is making money from this. So he's connected with it. So some people are questioning like, okay, can he do this? Is this right? The team has earned $1.25 million in fees over the past week. So the question is this a crypto scheme with ethical concerns? What y'all think? What y'all think this is? Because I see a lot of y'all say, Sheik, this is, What do y'all think? Is this a crypto scheme? Because when I first learned about all of this, I'm like, okay, well, what's supposed to happen with this money? That was the question. Remember, I said y'all could ask questions. So I'm typing in, okay, is he trying to raise money to go towards just, what we doing here? What we doing here? And I did not find a reason that he had put out that, as I was doing my research last night, I did not find a reason behind or something that he put out as to why he's doing it. I just see, people expressing their opinions about it. They said the Trump's meme coin dinner contest earned insiders $900,000 in 2 days. The biggest buyer acquired 2 million coins worth about 24 million, according to the Washington Post review of the data of the crypto data. Taken together, the 27 wallets acquired more than 8 million Trump coins worth 100 million as of Thursday afternoon. So he's made a lot of money from this. Let me see what y'all saying. Brolana said a huge scam. Sarah Jean said everyone used to love him till he came to office. It's crazy. Oprah, Will Smith, and so many more big names in the left leaning entertainment called him a good friend. There was a strong shift. Beautiful said how a lot of people are getting rich as well. Anyone can buy crypto coins. Yes. Sarah says, y'all, he had all the billionaires at his inauguration. His intentions have been very clear. He wants to make money. Look at his actions. Nicholas says, I could earn my retirement in a week on that corner. True One says, great content. Thank you so much, True One. Y'all double tap the screen. Rob says, tell us you don't know anything about crypto without telling us. JF said, beautiful smile. Look at the price chart for this coin. It's classic rug pull scam. So I did see last night when I was preparing for this video, it was at like $15 and like 25 cents. That's what it was at, you know, right nearing midnight. Jermaine says, why do you think rich people are bad? Because they have money. Danger says, Sarah Jean, a decent friend and a sound politician are always the same. Yes, so let me see what else I captured from there. There was a lot of information I captured. I took note of regarding this because y'all, as I'm taking notes, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how am I feeling about all this? Because it was so much. It was new information for me because I'm not into crypto. I've played around with it with Robinhood and bought some things, you know, during the pandemic. But it's nothing that I'm kind of versed in. So it's just like I'm familiar with Robinhood, crypto coin and stuff like that. But it's not a lot. So I'm like just trying to take notes on it and trying to gauge like, okay, where are we going with this? How are people feeling about this? So this is just, you know, the information that I gathered from just out there on the internet, the media centered around the situation. I haven't come across any content yet where the Trump administration have spoken out on it. So I'm not sure what they're saying as to, you know, their justification behind any of this. This information is just onlookers, like with how people are feeling about this. It says that some of the owners may have bought the coins before the announcement and merely moved them from one account to another to become eligible for the gala. So they're like, some people probably already had coins, but when Trump put out this little incentive, this little contest, then people started kind of shifting some things around, I guess, to kind of have it appear as though maybe they recently just purchased the coins. The question is, or some people think that this could be people. The question is, are people buying access to the White House? Are people buying access to the White House? Because this is what it's giving, you know, if he's saying, hey, spend your money, the more money you spend, the bigger your chance is to have a seat at the table. Are you buying a seat at the table to have a seat at the table? The Trump meme coin insiders have to wait. So let me add this part. Trump meme coin insiders have to wait an additional 90 days before they can sell. So if you are buying, I guess, like these coins, insiders have to wait 90 days before they can sell the coin. So my thoughts is, okay, so if the contest or whatever you want to call it, whatever he doing, what we calling this, a fundraiser? Y'all, is this a fun? This is giving fundraisers. Y'all saying scam fundraiser, GoFundMe, fish plate sales for the church. I don't know, but he raising money. Is this crowdfunding? What we calling this? So they got to wait 90 days before they can sell. Only 20% of the supply of the Trump coins is available to trade. The remaining 80% held by insiders is locked under a 3-year schedule, with tokens getting released in increments. So y'all, they got rules. They got rules centered around these Trump coins. Like, you got to hold it for like the 90 days. And then, okay, then you got to, you're locked under a 3-year schedule. Like, listen, child. Y'all better know what you spending your money on. Like I said, I don't really get into the crypto coins. So I'm just saying, if y'all finna be out here spending your money, Bromlana said definitely a GoFundMe. If y'all finna be out here spending y'all money, try to have a good understanding on, what you're spending your money on. Because it's certain rules around it. So some may think, okay, I'll buy it and then turn around and sell it. There's kind of some rules around like how quickly you can sell it. So the Trump coin, it was launched in January. The First Lady Melania, she introduced hers like not long after, which briefly surpassed the $2 billion in the market value before tumbling along with the Trump coin. So they came out with the coin in January and it took off. It took off, but then it kind of tumbled. Because y'all know how, like, a lot of times people would kind of be here for the hype and they quickly jump on. And then afterwards they were like, man. And I think that's how, the little bit I played around with, with the crypto coins and stuff like that. It was just like, oh, let me jump in, because a lot of the, it's not expensive, but then it don't really do nothing. So it's just like, okay, this ain't nothing. Let me sell this and get my little few dollars or whatever I can get back. So apparently that's what happened with the Trump coin and the Melania coin. People just, the hype just didn't last that long. So from these coins, the tokens creators have already made a fortune despite the restrictions. The SEC states that the meme coins don't qualify as securities. The main wallet behind the Trump coin has earned more than $350 million in USDC or USD coin. So the coin creator has made a lot of money. So even though like we've seen like this been like the up and down since the Trump coin, there's been a lot of money still made. A lot of people like Trump or the creator, like they've still made a lot of money. Now, the people who have invested in the coin to date, they probably haven't really made a whole lot of money, but the rich has made a lot of money. The article also said the Trump family, y'all have another crypto project in the works. So y'all stay tuned. Let's talk about Trump's net worth, his current net worth, because even though we're seeing all these money moves taking place with President Trump, he still got a crazy amount of money in the bank. This man, listen, he might have taken some losses, with the crypto coin as far as with the value going up and down. But at the end of the day, baby, listen to these numbers. Listen up, buttercup. Double tap the screen. Trump's net worth is currently this is according to Forbes. Trump's net worth is at $6.2 billion. And you all, this is without the meme coin. So really, that's why I'm curious to hear what he will have to say as far as like, behind the meme coin. Because it's not like he needs it based off of what his network is. So that's why hopefully soon we'll hear them speak on how long, his reasoning behind why he, is doing what he's doing with trying to encourage people to buy it, it being other than just wanting to make more money. I'm just curious to just hear the explanation from him, and even Press Secretary Caroline. So because he has a lot of money. And here's the thing. His money comes from media. It says his money comes from media, business, and real estate. Media, business, and real estate. So that's where his riches, the $6.2 million, media business and real estate, not the Trump coin. It's not that. That's some additional money, but that's not like where his money, that's not how he's eating. Like, you'd be like, how is he eating? He's not eating off no Trump coin. Just know that. Just know that he's not eating off the Trump coin. And many of you will not either. It's just a thing to where, oh, there's some disclaimers. Let me continue on. Because he's not eating off the Trump coin, and they want y'all to know y'all not going to be eating off of it either. The Truth Social stocks have dropped. Trump's publicly traded social media company, Trump Media and Technology Group, sank Tuesday, falling about 11%, which is the worst since November 2024. The value of the company fell by $500 million on Tuesday. Trump has more than 50% equity stake in the company. So I done told y'all what this man net worth is. But he's losing money too. So as I wonder, like, what's this? Why is he, what's selling the coins like this and pushing it and encouraging people to buy it and telling them they can come and have dinner with him at the White House? Although his money is still over $6 billion, he still is losing money, just like Elon, because rich will lose money too. It kind of goes up and down, You're not always winning. Forbes wrote, the meme coins do not hold underlying value like stocks, which grants investors a piece of company or bonds, which offers interest payments. So, like I said, as of last night, right before midnight, the cost of a Trump coin was about $15.24. Kept fluctuating between $15.21 to like $15.25. The Trump coin website does have a disclaimer. So y'all listen up. Listen up. I'm going to tell y'all the disclaimer. So for some of you all who maybe have bought the Trump coin, you may not have seen this part. And then for those of you who may be considering purchasing the Trump coin, there is a disclaimer on the website. The disclaimer reads, double tap the screen, please, while you're here. Join the membership, $2.99. We got the Temu prices, $2.99. Join the membership to become a political honor student, because we honor students over here. We ask questions, we do our research, we elevate, we evolve. Listen, we do all of that. This is what we do. We are those students over here. The disclaimer reads, Trump memes are intended to function as expression of support for and engagement with the ideals and beliefs embodied by the symbol $Trump and the associated artwork, and are not intended to be or to be the subject of an investment opportunity, investment contracts, or security of any type. So listen, listen, it's just cute. These Trump coins are just cute. they cute. They cute. They cute. That's it. Don't think that you finna go and put your 2 weeks notice in after you purchase these Trump coins. You just finna get you some coins that's finna have his face on it, or Melania's face on it. But child, that's it. That's it. Now, if you want to come in and break bread with me, eat a piece of ribeye, a biscuit, some potato salad, and some sweet tea, because y'all know Trump don't drink alcohol, because y'all finna be having sweet tea and lemonade at dinner, then go ahead and invest in the Trump coin, because the top 200, so in the top, Brolena says, so you invested in art. Listen, for $15, that's what it's giving, Brolena. That is, listen, let me read this disclaimer again for the people in the back. The Trump coin website has the following disclaimer. Trump memes are intended to function as an expression of support for and engagement with the ideals and beliefs embodied by the symbol $Trump and the associated artwork, and are not intended to be or to be the subject of an investment opportunity, investment contract, or security of any type. So if you're into art and just want to have some pieces that got Trump's mug on it, just got his face on it, listen, for $15.25, you can get you a meme coin. You can get you what they call it, the meme, the Trump meme coin. You can get you a coin, but don't think you finna be going to buy some groceries. Don't think you finna be paying some car notes, mortgage, rent, deposits. Don't even think you finna be paying some activities for your child's school, summer school, paying car notes, putting gas. This not what it's due. This is just for you to just say that you have something that has Trump's face on it. As Bromlena said, the artwork. It's about the artwork. It's about the artwork. Hey, what's up? You said, yes, Eric, welcome. You made it to the live. You made it. We talking about Trump coin. Eric, do you have you a Trump coin? Trump got the crypto coin. Trump said, listen, if you one of the top buyers, you can have dinner with him at the White House. You can have dinner with him at the White House if you are a top buyer. But that's about all you getting. Don't think you finna got them be able to go to work and cuss your boss out and tell him what he can do, him or she what they can do, because you done bought you about 25 Trump coins. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's why they got this disclaimer out, because they know how sometimes folks start feeling themselves. They think they done came up on a lick and they start doing the most. He's talking about, so the disclaimer says y'all ain't came up on no lick. We may have come up on a lick, but you have not come up on a lick. So you need to make sure you show up back to work at the Waffle House, at the Coca-Cola factory, wherever you working. Wherever you working, you need to make sure that you show up to work, because this ain't it. This is not it. That is the Trump coin, y'all. I was like, okay, Trump, like, okay, so this what we doing? Y'all, I be talking. I say, y'all, I come out here. I bring the good, the bad, the ugly when it comes to this administration. Y'all know I do. Some ish I be here for, and some I be like, now what the hell is this? What's really going on? What is going on? So, yours said, hold your Trump coin, don't trade it. So, they didn't add that part in the little disclaimer, but some people who are into, the crypto and all of that, some are like, hey, yo, so here's the thing. I don't have I have some coins, of actual physical coins that I can hold in my hand. I have some Trump coins that has his face on it. So that's different. It's not crypto. It's just the actual coins. They're silver. How many of you all have silver, gold coins, things like that? So during the pandemic, I was doing some things, and so I seen opportunities to purchase silver coins. And they didn't cost a lot of money. It wasn't nothing like that. So, but they have his face on it. So I'm like, oh, it's cool, because he's the president. So down the line, one day, it can, have value to it. So that's pretty much kind of where my mindset was as far as when I bought them. It was only, I think I bought maybe 10 of them. But it was just the intent. Okay, I'm just gonna, hold on to them or whatever. So with this crypt, you ain't doing nothing in real time with it. So your best bet probably is just gonna be probably just to have it sitting there and just going about your business. But like I said, don't go to work cussing nobody out, because you think you about to clean up, and by the first of the month, you finna be living like your last name Trump. It's not that. It's not that. Watch the chart. Smart money is on the sideline. So Chad says, that's right. Hashtag POTUS Trump will come up. Never think he will be a broken America much longer. Yeah, like, so happy Sunday, everyone. Like the video. Like the video. So we are nearing the first 100. We are within the first 100 days. Today is day 98. Tuesday is day 100. How do you feel? Let's do a temperature check. How do you feel about the first 100 days? Are you feeling good about the progress we've made, where we're going? How do you feel? Let me know in the comments. Eric says, my mama told me it's not good to know everybody, but just know the right body. And someone who is very reputable told me that Trump is about to make a lot of average people rich. I'm here for that. Serving with Terry says, I remember when Bitcoin was worth less than a penny, then it was 100K. You really think Miss Chic, the rich lady, knows? No, but someone like me who owns two houses know more than her, way more. High Priest says, throw it in the garbage. He's a scam artist. Eric says, you'll never run out of money. You just made 200 billion off a New York lawsuit. Nick says, look up Black Rock. So, listen, everybody, all I say is do your research. A lot of times when it comes to stock, it's about playing the long game. So, with the crypto, maybe very well. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have anything with Trump, any Trump coins in crypto, but I do have some like physical coins, that are Trump coins, the physical coins. Let's see. Truman says, I'm personally has positive vibes as of now with Trump admin. Okay. Natasha says, I feel like he's changing from his old ways and it'll be challenging, but I believe he has the tendency to pull through all the chaos. All y'all can do is pray. Yeah, I'm keeping the faith. I feel like, ultimately at the end of the day, um, all that we see him doing when it comes to the economy, everything, I feel like it's going to be for the better good. Right now, it's tough for a lot of people. I view it as growing pains. I've been seeing people have put content out there centered around the limited food that's on the shelves. When I complete this live, I'm gonna go into the grocery store. I need to get some things, but I want to take notice of what the shelves are looking like. I've heard people kind of estimate that we probably got a good couple of weeks before things are going to look scarce on the shelves because truck drivers are putting out there, there's content out there where truck drivers are saying that they're not getting the loads like they used to carry to these stores. So if the loads aren't in the trucks to get to the stores, where is this food coming from that we see on the shelves? So just take notice, as you all go into these grocery stores, and you peep and, you see what they look like, if they're bare, if they full, just take notice of it. Just take notice of it because some areas, I'm sure, maybe will be impacted or in a way or at a different time than others. We got to keep that in mind. Where people live, your geographical location. I live in Georgia in Metro Atlanta. But as of late, the last times I have gone into store, I've taken notice. I would say probably the only area within the store that I did take notice of that was kind of not fully stocked was probably the chips aisle. Everything else that I was looking at, if it looked okay, but when I looked at the aisles, it was like a lot like big gaps in spacing when it came to like chips. But like that was it. As far as like the meats, fruits, and the vegetables and things like that, I didn't take notice that there was any issue there with, having enough goods on the shelves for the consumers, the people to buy. Like I didn't see that. But today, I'm going to go into the stores and take a look. I have to shop, so it's not like I'm just going in for that. But while I'm in there, I'm going to take notice of what these shelves are looking like. So that's just lining up to just being aware, trying to prepare the best you can for what's to come. Because I know I've heard like Walmart say like 80% of the goods on their shelves come from China. So with this whole halt with just things coming in from China like that, I would imagine that would definitely impact Walmart and what we see on their shelves. So I don't know as far as with these other grocery stores if it's as high of a percentage of their items come from China, but I've heard like specifically Walmart, a lot of their items on their shelves come from China. Eric said that's only at Walmart because they sell 90% Chinese. Joke. Okay. And I haven't been in Walmart in so long. I don't shop in Walmart. So I'm not anti, but it's just not my go-to store to shop from. So I really don't know what their shelves are looking like. But what I do know, I talked about it before on this channel. Some of the WalMarts are charging you now to use the express line, the self checkout. Some of these WalMarts are charging you a monthly fee. You can pay monthly or annual. Monthly is like $13, and it's like a membership fee. Kind of like how I have memberships for this channel. Become a member. Become a political honor student. It's $2.99. Your name will show up in color, and you'll have priority to comments. I'll prioritize the reading of your comments, as well as like with super chats. It comes in color. Super chats come in color. I can see your comments. So if you want to drop a comment that stands out so I can read it, drop a super chat for as low as, I think, maybe $1.99, however low it can be, whatever. But Walmart is now charging you some, not all, some. I haven't gone into my neighborhood Walmart, so I don't know how they're doing it. But I saw online, it was a content creator talking about it. And some Walmarts are charging you to use the self-checkout, $13 a month. Because the reason that they're doing this is because they have been experiencing a lot of theft. Because through the self checkout, like you're checking yourself out, there's been some people who have like changed the sticker on the pricing, things like that. I've seen like this compilation of like people who go into Walmart and they just like share how they change out the pricing on goods and things and go through self checkout and just pay some super cheap price, something in cents, like 47 cents for an item that's like valued at in the hundreds. Like it was a person, I think it was a guy, he had like a PlayStation box, and he said he took the sticker from like a banana or something, like something produce or something, and he put it on the PlayStation and he scanned that, and that's how he, child, like I guess he like, listen, I ranged up something. It was a price that I paid, and this is what he did. And there was multiple people talking about what they've been doing in Walmart. So I didn't know it was that bad right now with people just stealing in Walmart and just changing prices and things. So some of these Walmarts are now charging you to utilize that self-checkout service. Rizzo said, yes, Cheek, I am. CDL holders, a lot of owner-operators are having a hard time with the rates, amongst other things. Even company drivers are having tough times. Thank you for that, Rizzo. So you're saying you're a truck driver. So, yes, I've been tapped in listening to, things that truck drivers have been saying for the last few weeks, and I'll talk about it because they're saying their loads aren't the same. So therefore, they're not making the money that they once were making because they're not getting the deliveries. They're not getting the deliveries like they used to. So the effect of that is there's no products being put on the shelves, which in turn for people like me and you, when we go in the store, we're not going to see a lot of the things that we're used to seeing. I've also seen out there a lot of goods and things are held up at the ports. They're held up there. So this, the whole situation, with the tariffs and things, it's kind of got a lot of things kind of halted, especially if it's coming from China. So I would say we'll be smart where if you're placing orders and buying products and things and you're relying on it to come through the mail, to really take notice on where it's coming from. Like, and if it is another country, what country it's coming from. And if there's any issues with goods getting through that's coming from that particular country. I don't think that right now, probably China might be the I don't know. You just might have your, it might just take a very long time to get your product. It's just keep that in mind. It's likely going to take a long time, longer than usual. So if it's something like that you need like yesterday, um, yeah, you might not want to buy it internationally. You might want to do your research to see how you can get it like within the US. But if it is coming from, another country, definitely get and have an understanding on how long it's taking for goods to come from that place. So therefore, you have the proper expectation on how long it's going to take for you to receive that product, and you can plan accordingly. Because what you don't want to do is order something that you need by a heart like a certain date and you don't have it. That's just not what you want. That's just not what you want. So definitely do your research. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe. I welcome each and every one of you. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. We're growing. Road to 3,000 subscribers. We're growing. So join the tribe. Become a political honor student today by being a member, or just subscribe and just be an honor student. It's Buffy says, Eric, this isn't how you rebuild U.S. Manufacturers. So Trump recently, he's wanting to bring back manufacturing here. He's just basically wanting people to get back used to just using their hands when they work. Um, Working jobs that don't require for you to go to college and just get in debt, have a buttload of like student loans. So recently, he signed an executive order centered around funding for, I think they call it apprenticeships and things like that, for people to be able to learn certain types of like job functions and things like that. Um, these jobs that don't require for you to have like a college degree, but you do like maybe like an apprenticeship or something like that, where you're going someplace and kind of getting like, a hands-on type experience. You know how like HVAC, like these are jobs where you're just kind of, you're just, you're in real time, you're just learning how to do these jobs by maybe like job shadowing, or just hands on. You're not just kind of sitting in a classroom learning how to get a skill like people like myself and many others who chose to go to college. And as a result, we have the debt. There's a student loan debt that we have to pay for. And many people, the jobs that they work does not allow for them to even repay back their student loans, which is why we have millions of people who are in default for the with their student loans, because they can't afford to pay them back. And effective, or as of May 5th, the government is cracking down very, very hard on paying back your student loans, basically starting back up those payments. Many people haven't made student loan payments in a lot of years, in a year or more. Some going back to 2020, when the Biden, during the pandemic, when it was put on hold when it was put on hold for people to pay their student loans back, because of, we were just going through something. The world was in crisis, was experiencing a crisis, so they put the student loans on hold. Well, now the Trump administration is wanting people to start back paying their student loans. They say there is no such thing as forgiving. Matt said fake crises, yes, but at that time, there was a lot of just things that was put into place, that was centered around what was going on, and one of them being a hold on requiring for the American people to repay their student loans. So the time has come where it's time for people to start paying back their student loans. And if you do not pay your student loans, there are 3 ways that you can be dealt with. You can be dealt with pretty much all 3 of them really at the same time. One being garnishment of your check. So if you fall behind, they can garnish the money from your check. So basically that means they'll get it before you get it. So when you get your check and you see you got 50 cents and you wonder what had happened, it's because they got to it first. And anybody who knows anything about check garnishment, they do not come and consult with you on an amount to garnish from your check. They come up with that amount on their own. Usually it's centered around maybe like a percentage, but this is what, I know takes place. Kind of like with people who fall behind on child support and their check starts to get garnished. It's like a percentage that comes out of the check. So this is going to be the same thing. Check's going to be garnished for the student loan payment. So you'll have that impact. A second impact that you can also be hit with is a hit on your credit report. Yeah. They'll put a stain on your credit report indicating that you are, indicating that you are behind on your student loans. The third way they can impact you if you fall behind on your student loans is to get your tax refund check. Meaning that if you're expecting a certain amount, like it's of your so say you get your tax prepared and your tax preparer tell you that you're going to get $2,000 back, and from the Fed, because usually it's like two. You have a state and federal, and so the federal, let's just say they say, hey, you getting 2,000 back. The government take notice that, hey, you fallen behind on your student loans, so we're going to go ahead and just take that from this tax return that you're due to get back. So we're going to take maybe $500. I don't know how they're going to pick and choose the amount that they're going to want to take back. But they can very well take the whole thing. They probably will take the whole thing, because you know how normally, like, if you owe taxes and the amount you owe is more than what your tax refund will be, they'll just take the full thing. So they're going to get there. So it's probably going to be, if you owe, because likely it's probably going to be more than $2,000 that you owe in student loan money. So yeah, child, you ain't getting that $2,000. You're going to be crying, because you're going to be expecting, they done told you the date that you're going to get this deposit. You signed up to get the electronic deposit. You expecting in the next 7 days. You done doggone book your trip. You ready to just, pay off the list. And folks finna have plans. Folks finna be crying. Folks are going to be crying. You done paid your deposit. You done paid the money that you can't get back because you didn't take out the insurance, because that costs extra money. So you didn't pay no insurance on the trip. So you done put down your little $200 deposit. You banking on your tax return to come so you can pay off your trip to Jamaica with the girls or with the boys. Y'all know how we be having plans. And then the day come and you don't see a deposit, and you hitting your tax preparer up like, yo, like, I ain't got my deposit. What happened? What we doing? And then research, you or your tax preparer, you all do your research, or the tax preparer probably going to say, listen, you need to call them folks. You need to call the IRS. I put it through. You need to call the IRS and see what had happened. You place that phone call and they tell you, well, it looks like the federal government saw that you had an outstanding student loan bill out there for $25,000. So they saw that you were due to get $2,000. They saw that you were due to get $2,000 back in tax return, for your tax refund. So they decided to just go ahead and just take that and apply it towards your bill. So the good news is that now you only owe $23,000 on your student loan. Listen, this is going to be the conversation. If folks going to be cussing, these doggone IRS people finna be getting cussed out. And y'all know, with Trump trying to thin out how many people work for the IRS, it's going to be a good about 5 people left answering these phone calls. So you already know they finna be stressed. And they might cuss you back out, in return. Because while you cussing them out, they probably going to say a few words to you too. Because they are overworked and underpaid. They are overworked and underpaid, and they like, hell, it's only 5 of us, so it's likely that they probably ain't finna lose their job right away like that, because everybody right now in the season of trying to do more with less, more with less. So, y'all, these are some trying times for everybody. So be careful on when you dealing with customer service and you trying to jump bad with these people. Don't be surprised if they jump bad with you back. Don't be surprised if they give you that same energy and you finna clutch your invisible pearls because nobody on the other end have ever talked to you like that because you're used to being the one who talking out the side of your neck. Well, these people finna say something back because they tired. They tired, and like I said, it's only about a good 5 of them left because everybody else then got their walking papers and walking up the street with their signs talking about they was wrongly terminated. But this is what's about to happen. So Cinco de Mayo this year, May 5th, 2025, is going to have a whole different kind of meaning. It's going to be more than just having margaritas at the Mexican restaurant. Don't be drinking too much, putting all the money on the margaritas. Please save some for your student loans. This is a PSA. Please save some money for your student loans. Don't be putting all that money on them drinks. Tipping the doggone woman over at the karaoke extra hard because she cute and she sang the hell out of that Selena song. Make sure you leave with some money in your pocket because President Trump and his administration said they need theirs too. This is where we are. May 5th. Get into it. If this is news to any of you and you have student loans out there, it would behoove you to do your research to learn how this can impact you. They are strongly encouraging for people to go out and set up payment plans. So whoever's holding your loans, make a phone call to them the next business on Monday, that's the next business day, and see what your situation is and how you can get it in good standing because many people have fallen behind on their student loans. There's a lot of people who are in default on their student loans. And I truly believe it's simply because they ain't got it. They can't afford it. And it's not just because they just want to parlay and they don't want to pay it. I truly believe most Americans just cannot afford it. They can't afford to pay their student loans. So they're not getting paid and they're prioritizing other responsibilities, such as buying groceries, clothing their children, feeding their children, paying rent, paying the mortgage, paying a car note, things that impacts their lives in real time currently. Many people are prioritizing that over student loans. To me, it makes sense to prioritize those things that affect you like every day versus like the student loans, even though the student loans, you can't ignore that too. But it comes to when you line things up in an order from most important to least important. I think for most Americans, especially if you have a family, the student loans is like down at the bottom, especially if you're already a homeowner, especially if you've already purchased a home. So you're not, or if you're someone who have no intentions on purchasing a home. You're not thinking about, okay, how this, by me not paying on my student loans, how it may impact my ability to get a loan, because it will impact your ability to get a loan. Your student loans, there is a conversation had when you're purchasing a home centered around the status of your student loans. Hello, thank you.
I just gotta take a quick picture.
Okay, you can leave it there. Scott said, who makes more, college educated or high school dropouts? You got a lot of college educated in all, in general, you're going to have the college educated who are going to make more. But there are a lot of people who do have college education who aren't making any money. They're unemployed. I see it all the time on LinkedIn. They're unemployed, or they're working a job that barely makes ends meet, or it's still not even enough. So I think really the question is, can you make money? Can you make a decent living without having a degree? But at least I feel like you at least need to have a high school diploma. That's just the bare minimum, a high school diploma. But I don't feel like it's necessary to have a college degree. There are a lot of people getting to it from just having certifications, licenses, I know a lot of people, just people who live in my neighborhood, who just who do work like, plumbing. My neighbor is a plumber and got couple of homes. Does very well. Nice cars, beautiful home. No college education. He's just a hardworking plumber. And he's able to support his family, his wife and their one son who's on his way to college in the fall. So you can make a good you can create a good life without having a college degree. Like, you can. But that's not the message that they put out there. Rizza said people who have dropped out and later on learned a trade make good money. Very much so. But you got to have a trade. You can't just drop out and just not have any type of skill. See, there's the difference. It makes a difference on if you have a skill in something versus you're just out here floating and going from job to job. Like, you have to have some type of skill in something. Eric said plumbers $75 an hour, electricians $50 an hour, painters $50 an hour, carpenters $80 an hour, handyman $40 an hour. Not great money, but good enough money. Yeah. Eric says in inner city they should have trade schools. We shouldn't pay colleges billions of dollars in tax money. And then to think about, like, lately, like when it's been coming, with these Ivy League schools being in the media, in the news, centered around funding, with Trump wanting to hold up funding because of, them still wanting to have DEI in the equation at these institutes like Harvard and I think some other schools. I'm like, wow, it's just crazy to know that just even these schools that most of us just aren't going to go to or don't even qualify for, but we're paying into them. They get so much money. I didn't realize, until just now, just all the federal funding that these schools get, that us, as taxpayers, we're paying into these institutes, and we don't even really have a realistic chance with even becoming a student at these schools, but our tax money pays into them. That, I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And I've come to see it doesn't make sense to a lot of people because it's very few people who qualify to even go to these schools. Rizza say universities are the biggest hustlers. That guy says, I went to college, one of the best decisions I made. I think it makes a difference too on what you, when you went to college, what did you do there? A lot of people went to college and didn't finish. So they're out here working jobs. They didn't finish and they have this student loan debt. So I think if you are on pace to go to college, I feel like it makes more sense to finish it because you're still going to be stuck with that bill whether you finish or you don't. And going to college, to me, that still kind of puts you in that category when I talk about having some type of skill in something. So whether it's going to college or you getting a certification or a license, you're getting skilled in something. So just make sure that it makes sense for what you aspire to do, because there are some fields that no, it doesn't, you don't have to go to college. Like if you aspire to just have your own business, it is not necessary to go to college to earn a business degree because you aspire to be an entrepreneur. It makes a difference on like what kind of entrepreneur are you aspiring to be. And then from there, honing in on the skills that are required for that particular industry. And you probably can learn those skills through an apprenticeship. Remember, we used the example of a plumber. A plumber can have their own business. So say they aspire to have their own business. They want a plumbing business. That plumber didn't have to go to college to learn how to run and operate a business. There are other ways to, I really think a lot of people who have businesses today, they didn't go to college to learn how to run a business. They learned their skill, they perfected their skill, their craft. And they kind of went from there. You study, you do your research, you talk to maybe other people who are also in that industry, whether it's trucking, whatever it is, you network. It doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily centered around going to college and getting a college degree. So it just makes a difference as to what your interest is. It's more about what your interest is versus it just being blanketed, go to college. My conversation with someone who's saying, hey, Sheik, I don't know if I want to go to college or not. I'm going to say, okay, well, what are your interests in? Well, I really like, doing hair. I would love to have a salon or a barbershop or something like that. Okay, well, you can just go to cosmetology school to learn that. And then as far as with how to run a business, you can take some classes, maybe some, pay to take a course, something online or something to learn some little things about business, how to run a business, how to manage your books, get some software. Like, you don't have to go and get a degree for this. But that's not the messaging that most of us were told. We were told, hey, to get to it, you got to go to college, you got to get a degree. And if you really want to get to it, you're going to get advanced degrees. That was the message I heard in the 90s. So I did just that. But that's not the message I tell my children. My message to them is to learn something, to become skilled at something and become the best at it as you can, just to perfect it, to become whatever. But my daughter, she wants to be a doctor. Okay, that's the path of college. You got to go to college for that. I got another son who's interested in like cybersecurity. Okay, well, you can go to college for that, but you can learn that also by getting some certifications, doing some online classes. So you really don't have to have a degree in that. You can, but it's not something you have to, like as far as with being a doctor where you have to. You see what I'm saying? It's a different type of conversation. So it makes a difference on what your path is. It's not the same. I don't have the same conversation with my daughter that I have with my son. My daughter who wants to be a doctor, and then my son who wants to work in cybersecurity. Those are different conversations. They're different conversations. One path is you have to go to college. The other path is optional. So, son, let's explore both paths. Let's do our research to see, okay, if we go to college path, what that looks like. And if we go this path where you can maybe get some certifications, do some independent learning, some online learning. Let's explore both of them and see which one's going to make sense. The same with my son who's in school for animation. It was the same conversation because I personally didn't feel like that was something really that he necessarily had to go to college to learn. Because I know like a lot of basically like the things that he learned already thus far didn't come from like a college environment. There are things that you can do independently. My son is a natural when it comes to, he's a gifted artist. So he has that gift. So I felt like, hey, let's explore how you can get to it without going that route and getting into debt. So that was that conversation. But my daughter who's aspiring to be a doctor, a surgeon, it's college. Our conversation is, baby girl, continue to keep them grades up so you can get your free ride. You on pace. That is the conversation with her, because I don't see how we get around college with her wanting to doggone be a surgeon or a body examiner and things like that. So you got to drill down to it. It's not high level. Yes, go to college so you have to go. No, no, no. Make it make sense. It has to make sense. That's what I'm saying. It has to make sense. I told my, with my other two kids where college is more of like optional. I told them, hey, think about what the earning potential is for this job. When you get out, will you make enough money to pay back student loans? Will you make enough money to pay back the student loans? Because if your earning potential is 40,000 and your student loans is 65, we already in the hole. Your earning potential is 40 a year and your student loans is 65. That don't make sense to me. That's just how my brain works. The math ain't mathing to me. We got to go back to this. We got to go back to the drawing board. We got to figure this thing out because this ain't it. Let's regroup. And that's what people that's what people got to do. It got to make sense. If what you're trying to do, what you're willing to go in debt for is the earning potential on the back end bigger than that debt. Like my daughter aspiring to be a doctor, to either be a surgeon or a body examiner. Whatever debt that she may get into, her earning potential is larger than that. So I'm like, okay, if you got to pick up some debt, okay, that makes sense given the path that you're on. But son, baby, you talking about doing some artwork, some drawing, some animation. Son, we gonna need to make sure this makes sense. So that was that tough conversation I had to have with my son. Like, wait a damn minute. Because the goal isn't for you to finish college and end up back in the house with mom and dad. That's not the goal. The goal is for you to be able to take care of yourself. So you have to make sure that whatever this job is and you're investing in this time, money, and energy, that when you get out, the earning potential is there for you to be able to support yourself and to still pay your student loans off. Like, that's the goal. D said, pick a functional career. Like, it got to make sense. 94.94. That's my body count and my viewers and my likes. Double tap the screen. I like the number. Double tap the screen, like the video. But you have to go into thought with these things because debt is such a major issue for so many people, to where we have to just think about how we can get to it without getting into all this debt. That's the challenge right there. That is the challenge, because most Americans have some type of debt. And a lot of Americans are in a situation to where they haven't been able to date, accomplish certain goals like buying a house because of the debt that they have. Because it comes up in the conversation when they're speaking to someone about getting a home loan. It comes up. And then the lender, they're saying, hey, it doesn't look like you'll be able to afford to pay your student loans and this mortgage. So we're not going to be able to approve you right now. You have to increase your income. How easy is that for most people to just go out there and just overnight increase your income? It's not feasible for a lot of people like that. It's possible, but it's not like, okay, next Monday you're now it's practical for now you to be making that extra $20,000 that the lender wants to see on the application, because they have to factor in the percentage that you're paying for your student loans. So when they factor that in, they want to see that you're not in the hole, or that it's going to be a struggle for you to pay the mortgage and pay your student loans. People not getting to the money like that as a collective. You got some people who are, but a lot of people are not getting to the money like that. Derek said, I recently was in the job market. It took me 2 months and 60 applications to get an interview for an entry-level position. Seriously, I remember when it took 3 days to find a job. I remember that when I graduated high school in 99. So working as an adult in the workforce in the early 2000s, I remember that was just a thing that I would always hear people talk about, as how easy, like living here in Georgia, it is. I don't know where you're at, but in the state of Georgia, I would hear about how easy it was to get a job. And they would say, like, if you didn't have a job, it's just because you didn't want one, because you could get a job easily. And that was a reason why they would say, older adults, more mature adults, because remember, I was just coming out of high school, and I would hear people say the reason why a lot of people would come from other states to come to Georgia is because it was the job market was so good here that you can just come here and just do very well, have a really decent life, live, pretty good, pretty comfortably. I remember the people saying that in the early 2000s. I haven't heard people say that in a while. Derek said, you're in Louisville, Kentucky. Okay. I have not heard people say that in a while. That's no longer the case. Right now, you got people working a day job, and then by night they're driving, they're doing food deliveries, ride share gigs, DoorDash, like going to doing grocery shopping for people. Like they're doing all these little side hustles to just to increase their income. 2, 3 jobs, right, Benny? 2 or 3 jobs. How many of y'all? Some of y'all may work multiple jobs. This YouTube thing is a second job. This is a job. My channels are monetized. My livelihood isn't centered around it, but it's a second job. So a lot of your favorite content creators, YouTube is a second or third job for them. YouTube is a second or third job for them. And a lot of them are working to even get monetized because they're trying to find another means to bring in more money, because the monies that they're bringing in is just not enough. And then now we just learned that now the student loans, we got to start back paying back the student loans. People are wondering, like, where is that coming from? Where is the extra $700 that you're saying that you've determined I should be able to afford to pay back? Where is that coming from? Because I'm telling you, I ain't got it. I'm on my Tasha K. I ain't got it. So you're saying I need to pay this back, but I'm here to let you know I don't have it. It's not going to get paid. I don't have it. I don't have it. Rissa said, every day I'm a hustler. Listen, it's hard out here for a pimp. I say that on every live because it's true. Every day, people are hustling. This is every day, regardless on what your skin color look like, what your which race, what religion you subscribe to, whether you team red, you team blue. People are out here trying to get to it. People are out here trying to get to it, and I understand. That's why I come out here and I report on the news on what's going on, so people are informed. These student loans are here. So what, the 5th, what is that next week? What day is so let me see. 28, 9, 31, 2. So what, that's in like not what, in another week or so? Cinco de Mayo? I think it's on a Monday. So it's not this coming Monday, what, the next following Monday? That time is just around the corner. It is just around the corner. That time is around the corner where we'll be having to repay our student loans. It is what it is. And the Trump administration, they said, listen, the days of conversations centered around deferment and all of that, forgiving, not deferment, forgiving. They was like, that doesn't exist. Here's, I love margaritas. Well, listen, if you got student loans, say don't spend all the money on the margaritas. What was the point I was going to say? That right now, people are struggling. A lot of people have student loans. Some people's student loans are more than others. But even those whose student loans are maybe way less than yours, they're still I still can't afford to pay it back. Not right now. I have every intention to pay it back, but I can't afford to pay it back. Or some people have said that the amount that they were able to afford to pay, the loans and everything have just been they went under review, and it's been determined that they can afford to pay more when they can't. And so, or not, I'm not going to even say it's been determined they can't afford to pay more. It's their payments have been increased based off of what, I'm not quite sure on the background as to someone who student loan payment go from 300 to 900. I'm not sure what type of math they're doing in the background to say, hey, we feel like you can pay $900, but that is what's happening for a lot of American people today. They are seeing significant increases in their student loans payments. And they're like, I can't afford it. I was able to afford 300. I can't afford the 900. Scott says, I didn't make sacrifices all my life to pay someone else's liabilities. This is where we are. So this is the struggle. So everybody has their own thing that they're struggling with, that they're working through. What's yours? What's yours? Everyone has their own thing. And so we talk about it over here on this channel, the struggles that people have, because everyone has a struggle. They have something that they're working through. They have something that they're working through. Even if it's not worried about where the food and money and things is coming from. Everyone has something that they're working through. Some people, mental health is just not good, but though they're like, hey, I got money in the bank, but mentally, chic, I'm just like going through it. I'm stressed. I'm going through a divorce. You know, I don't see my kids enough. That's mental health. So you have some people where their challenge today is centered around their mental health and not their income. So just wherever you are, I think we just have to have empathy for people and what they're going through, because everyone's struggles don't look the same. Everyone's struggles do not look the same. But I promise you, everyone has something that they're struggling through to work through right now. And Elon Musk, for an example, I told y'all right now, since Trump has been in office, they said that he has lost $1 billion a day. That's a struggle he's having right now. Even though he still got money in the bank, no matter how much money you got, that is not something you want to experience. Losing money, large amounts of money. That's just not what you want. You're in the business of making money, right? Not losing money. So that's going to kind of keep you up at night when you're losing like that in the billions per day. Because how long can you keep that up? How long can you keep that up before it does start to impact your day-to-day experience? You got to stop the bleeding, right? You have to stop the bleeding. So he can't sit in, well, I make X amount of money, it's no big deal. No. Because if they're saying each day he's losing this amount of money, and you keep this up for a full 365 days, what kind of money you gonna have left? We gotta stop the bleeding. We gotta stop the bleeding. We have to stop the bleeding. So he's already down $122 billion. His net worth is down $122 billion. So I just use him as an example of, even though he's not a part of the working class like we are, this is another example of just regardless of what your money look like, what your bank account look like, what your mentals may be like, your people are going through things. And what somebody is going through, it just may very well just be different from what you're going through. But don't negate that somebody's going through stuff. This is just, as long as you're living, you go, what Jay-Z said, I got 99 problems, but what, getting rich ain't one? Like, okay, well, hell, what other type of problem? People throwing out, egregious allegations against him. His marriage not being in the best place. It's like people have other things going on with them outside of like money. But a lot of us working class people, money is like money is like like a top priority, something at the top of our list that has us kind of concerned. But there are people where their concerns are other things. Some of you in here, money may not be your concern, but I'm sure there are other things. I'm sure there are other things that, that keep you up at night that you're concerned about. That's why mental health is everything. I have mental health products on my links on some of my videos. You can access some of my mental health products. I have adult coloring books, notebooks, journals, planners, things like that. Catering to like mental health, just to kind of help you navigate. So check them out. Like I said, you can access the links on any of my other pre-posted videos. And on my community page, you can see the links to my Amazon products. But mental health, my background is mental health, clinical mental health counseling. I have a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. So on this channel, I will talk a lot about like mental health and insert that into the conversation, because all that we are experiencing today, it is having an impact on people's mental health. This is mind, body, soul. Like these things, not having money. How do that not impact your mental health when you got these bills coming and you don't have the money to pay for them? Your children are steady growing and you don't have the money to replace their clothing or their shoes. You don't have the money to go and fill up your cabinets and your refrigerators and your pantries. You don't have it. You're trying to figure out where the extra money to start back paying your student loan is coming from. Like people are going through it, all of this. You just notice that your check is little itty bitty because they just garnished it. And now you have to figure out, how to make up for that. Because you don't even get paid again until another 2 weeks. Or if you're someone who get paid once a month, not until another 4 weeks. So there's plenty going on that has people to be not in a good place. So check in on your loved ones, your people. Check in on them. See if they're good. If you're not good, be honest with people. Say that. Let someone know what's going on with you. Be open to receive help. Some people have never received help from people before because maybe they're used to helping others. So they don't know how to accept help or to even say, I need help. These are the times where you have to put your pride to the side and accept help however you can. Because it's a lot going on to where most of us, we can't do it by ourselves. Most of these things that we're seeing, you can't do it by yourself. You cannot do it alone. You need help. You cannot do this alone. So don't even try. Don't even try to do it by yourself. Because guess what? It's going to even stress you out even more. You're going to be stressed out even more trying to do this thing called life by yourself. And a lot of people who have given up, that are no longer with us, they felt like they didn't have anyone. They felt like they were in it all alone. And a lot of people didn't know that they were suffering the way that they were because they never said anything. Textural said, family is life. It sure is. How many of you have lost some loved ones by them just ending it all? And you were like, wow, I didn't know they were even going through all of that. Like, had I known. And you come to learn after the fact because maybe they left a message or something. And it's like, wow, why didn't they tell me? There are so many people who are suffering in silence. I promise you, there are a lot of people suffering in silence today. More than you know. It may be you. How many of you are going through some things and you ain't told nobody? You ain't told not a soul. It's just between you and your higher power. And you just hoping that you can get through these times because you don't want somebody to think that you crazy or that you're unstable because you're having certain type of thoughts. Or people that think that you're not, you don't have stability. The kids shouldn't be with you because your money funny. So you out here trying to fake the funk like you got it and you really don't because you trying to live a facade. Because if people really knew the truth, you know that they would view you differently. Or you feel like it'll change how they view you and they not going to have the respect for you that they have, that you feel like they have for you right now. So you like, nah, I can't tell them that. Or they going to go and tell all my business if they know that this is really how was really going on with me. I'm just saying, y'all, like people out here, y'all know people out here living an entire lie. Y'all know it is people out here living an entire life. A lot of people are living a lie. Their life is a facade. Let me see if I can get my charger before my phone dies. A lot of people are living a facade. It's a lie. Their entire life is a lie. A lot of people's entire life is a lie. I promise you. So don't get caught up on trying to have your life look like what the next person's life look like. Oh, they get into it. Their life looks so perfect. As I said, everybody is going through something. It's just a matter of what that something is. What are they going through? But everybody's going through something, right? You're going through something. I got things that I'm going through. But everyone is not always privy to the details of what's going on in someone's life. Looking for my charger. Everyone's not always privy of those intricate details that's going on in people's lives. So that's why you have to check in with your loved ones. Let them be known that they can be honest with you. They can tell you what's really going on with them. And they don't have to fake it. Let them know you're here for them. Because it can probably save someone's life if they really know that you're truly there for them. And you're not going to judge them for them being down bad in this season. Because it's a season. It's a season. You're not always up and you're not always down. It's a season. So always remember that when you're going through it and you're like, oh my God, it's just so bad. Like, it's a season. You'll get through it. You'll get through it. It's just a season. It's a season. It's a season for each and every one of us. So just hang in there. Riza says, I'm built like the tough times don't last. Tough people, do we all go through some? Yeah. Jack said we only need to live for God. Yeah, like, just remember, like, there's after every storm, there's a rainbow. So it's a season. Sometimes it feels like we're forever going to be be just in the pits of hell. And it feels that way. I know the feeling. It feels that way. Like, oh, it's never ending. But it's going to end. It just feels like that. It just, it just feels that way. But it's going to come to an end. It's nothing's like forever. Trump being a president isn't forever. So for those of you who's spazzing out about him being in office, like, it's not going to be forever. It's not going to be forever. Before you know it, y'all, it's going to be re-election time. And we finna see the campaigns. And because really they start running probably around like 2 years. Midway, you start seeing people throw their hat in. In regards to running for president, running for office and things like that. Y'all, that time's going to come fast. Time's going to come fast. It's going to come fast. So that's just with anything. Just do what you can. Don't try to worry about the things that you don't have control over. That's why more than ever, these are times that we need to rely on a higher power, because we can't do this on our own. We all are out here on a wing and a prayer. We cannot do this on our own. We can't do it on our own. Where they say there's strength in numbers. So get with other people to just lean on. Get out the house. Get out the house. Faith. Have faith. It's within. You do not need to go inside of a building for that. You do not have to congregate with a bunch of people to have faith. It's from within. It's from within. It has nothing to do with the building you're in. It's you. What's in you. Not what building you're standing in. It's what's in you, what's in your heart. That's what it's about. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think it's centered around, okay, a building, and going to a building and listening to someone stand before them and tell them a thing, that's not that's not how it works. But that's what a lot of people are sold on. So they regularly go and pay their money to people for them to tell them something that they don't need to pay somebody to hear, or that they don't even need to leave their home to hear. You can be anywhere and have faith, be anywhere in this world. No matter where you're at, you can pray from anywhere. Eric says, amen. This conversation just brought a tear to my eyes. People don't realize how serious mental health is, especially in the Black community. It is. And people don't talk about it. Because what I learned in school is that for the Black community, it's like it's a taboo conversation. So it goes untalked about within our community because people, it's like, they look at you funny when you talk a certain way, or if you say that you're not good, they like, well, what you mean? Like, what's wrong with you? You crazy? And so people don't want to be vulnerable with people to let them know what's really going on with them because of that. The shame. They're made to feel shamed for feeling how they feel. So once they feel that from one person, they just don't ever become vulnerable again with anyone. And guess what? The dangerous part about that, when you feel like you can't be vulnerable with anyone, is you spaz out. You spaz out, and then and when you spaz out, it can wind up where you ending up in jail, or you end up 6 feet under because you spazzed out. You didn't know how to handle those emotions, those fears, those things that you had going on with you. And that's mostly predominantly within the Black community. And y'all, that's a fact. I learned that. I feel like within our community, there's more conversations and things being had about mental health where people are starting to feel more comfortable with talking about things from what I've come to see over the years. Because you all, when I went to school, I'm going to let y'all know, when I took my first class in this program, when I signed up, when I registered for this degree program, I had never heard of the term mental health. I'd never heard of it. So I'm like, mental health. So then I learned all that it encompassed. I'm like, okay, I've heard of those things or those conditions, but I didn't know it was categorized as mental health, because that wasn't a term that was heavily used probably 2026. I mean, I'm sorry, 2016, pre-2020, pre-2016, 2015. Mental health wasn't like a terminology that we used a lot. It wasn't. I think I started school maybe around 2015 when I went to, work on that degree. But that was a new term for me. It's like, okay. Now, since then, I've heard it a lot and things, but up until that point, that was around like 2015. I wasn't hearing mental health. Like, I knew I went to do counseling, but the program was called Clinical Mental Health Counseling. So it's like, okay. I just wanted to get, like, I wanted to do marital counseling, family counseling. Like, I just knew from counseling, because a lot of times when we'd hear about like counseling, it was centered around just relationships and stuff, keeping families together. It was different. It wasn't like about like heavy and bipolar, schizophrenia, ADHD, autism. Like these things weren't talked about in the way in which they're talked about now. So over the years, awareness have been brought to all these different, parts of, with mental health, which is great. But I'm just saying, like, it was so new to me. So in my program, I just learned about just all just different aspects of mental health, because I didn't want to just focus on one aspect of counseling. I did a general degree, so therefore I can learn about, like, okay, everything, drug addiction, family counseling, which is what my interest was at the time. The mental health disorders like bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, anxiety disorder. Like, so y'all, I went to school, like, I learned about just everything. So I had the choice of, okay, based off of just what I learned about, what field, what do I want to go and what work in, like who do I want to help. So that's how, my awareness, how I became aware of just the mental health. So now it's like I talk about it any chance that I get, and I insert it in my topics, because as we're living and we're experiencing people and things, it's having an impact on us. It's having an impact on us. And we got to talk about the impact. We got to talk about the impact. That's the elephant in the room. Those things that, remember the stuff that would happen in the families and nobody wanted to talk about that stuff. Oh, Uncle Wayne, he crazy, he kind of funny. We just stay away from him. Well, what exactly does that mean? Nobody want to talk about what that means. We just stay away from him. We just leave him over there. He just stay in that part of the house. Babies, don't go in that part of the house. Let me see what I got. Please add in any advice on my previous comments. Tidro Doxin. Let me see. Thank you for the super chat. Let me see if I can see here. Any advice, people, would help a lot. I don't want to be in that. Let me see. So let me scroll up and see what your comment was. Okay, he said he didn't do it. I'm curious about the subject. My brother-in-law told me he was thinking about taking his own life, and I didn't know how to react. Didn't even know what to say. Okay. Okay, so let me add this. Anytime someone, Tidro, anytime someone is thinking about ending their life, they're dealing with depression. So a symptom of depression is suicidal ideation. So think about that. They're depressed. They're depressed. Start there. They're depressed. And a symptom of that is suicidal ideation. But the root is they are depressed. So we're going to start there. We're going to go there with that, the depression. From there, we need to understand what is taking place in their life that has them to feel depressed, down and out. What's going on? What are their circumstances? What are their circumstances? Because depression can come about from things happening, transpire, like experiences. You can have depression can be brought on from an experience where somebody violated you, and as a result of that, you're feeling depressed because you don't know what to do with that. Maybe you haven't even told anyone. You're dealing with it yourself. So you're depressed from that, where you just don't even want to go around anyone. You're feeling shame. So depression can come from that. And then another depression can also come from, it can be a chemical imbalance, meaning that genetic wise, it can be inherited, where your parents, your father, a family member struggle from depression. So the chemical imbalance part is the part that comes from like genetics. That's like the chemical imbalance part. Not, it's the opposite of something being the onset of something transpiring. Tidro said that's the thing. He has a kid on the way. He is newly married. He seems set up for life at this moment, and he owns his own house. So that's where I would want to know if his is centered more around from a chemical imbalance, because a chemical imbalance, when you have that chemical imbalance, you can't control the emotions and the thoughts, you can't control it. Keep that in mind, you all, with a lot of people who suffer from mental health, and you see them do all kinds of stuff and you're wondering why you keep doing that. They can't control it. It's like you telling the baby to stop crying, and the infant still continues to cry, because what they do. Someone who's suffering from mental illness, they can't control it. So what helps to control it is the medications that they take. It sounds like your family member, your brother, needs to be evaluated by a doctor, and tests be ran to identify the root of his illness, because it is likely that it is something that can be managed through medication. And a lot of people don't like to take medication because they don't like how it makes them feel. And then they don't want to also take medication because the stigma surrounding the taking medication. They don't want somebody to learn that they take a medication and to think that they crazy. So they don't take the medication. Or some of them, a lot of them, when I worked at the mental health hospital in Atlanta, a lot of them, they'll come off of their medication and wind up in the hospital because they stopped taking their medication, and they say they stopped taking the medication because they didn't like how it made them feel. So they just stopped taking it. So in all, most of the time, more often than not, somebody who's suffering from mental illness, especially if it's something centered around depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, major anxiety disorder, any type of personality disorder, these diagnoses needs to be managed with medication. They need to be managed with medication. And a lot of people try to navigate through life with a lot of these major mental health disorders without it, and they're unsuccessful. They're not successful when they try to do it alone. So for anyone who has a family member and you know and you see that they're struggling with mental health, the best thing that you can do is to try to encourage them to go talk to a professional. It can be a licensed therapist or it can be a psychiatrist. The difference, so the licensed therapist, they can talk to you and do a soft diagnosis, but they can't write out a prescription. They have to refer you out to the psychologist, the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist, they got to refer you out. Francis, Sheik, you making me cry. I feel like you're talking to me. I'm sorry. I wanted to just answer this question for someone because I understand that people don't be knowing. People don't know what to do. You see your loved ones hurting and you just don't know what to do about it. You don't know what to do about it, but you see it. You see it. So what I'm telling you all, if you're dealing with it or somebody else dealing with it, you have to talk to a professional. So again, the therapist, you can take therapist. So if you ever get an opportunity and with your benefits and it comes out and you're strapped for money and you're seeing that this therapist costs $40 an hour and the psychiatrist costs $60 an hour, see the person with 40 who charging $40 an hour, because the only difference is that the therapist cannot write you out a prescription. Me, with my education just being only on the master's level, I can do, like, if I were to be operating, practicing, and have my license activated, this is what it'll look like. I'll meet with someone. They let me know whatever's going on with them. I determine based off of the information that they're giving me what is likely that they may be suffering from, what a diagnosis could be. I then have to write that up, refer it over to the doctor, because I'm not a doctor. I just have a master's degree. I would have to go back to school just a little bit long. I probably can get the doctorate in maybe like 2 years. I'd have to go back to school. So that's just the next degree my next degree in my education, you all, would be a doctor, because I have like 2 master's. So my highest, I have 2 master's degree. One, I have an MBA and I have a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. So based on my credentials, I have to refer the person out because I'm not a doctor. So I'll say, hey, doctor, these are my notes. This is what I feel like, what's going on. Kind of like, y'all, this is a nurse to a doctor. Don't you all notice how the nurse do all the work? The dental hygienist do all the work. And then the doctor come in for a little bit and then co-sign what the nurse or the hygienist said. They're just doing the sign off. Or they're doing the major work. If it has to be a surgery or something taking place, the doctor's doing that. But y'all know the nurse the one doing all the work. It's the same thing with the counseling. The therapist can do everything, but they can't do the diagnosis. So I would have to refer it out to the doctor, say, hey, this is what I feel like is going on with this person. They would then be like, you know what? Yep, Sheik, I see what you're saying. Right. I'm going to write out this prescription. You need to get to the place to where you're getting a prescription written out. And like anything, the medicine may not be the right dosage for you that first time. It's trial and error, just like with anything. So if you're taking medication and you're like, you don't like how it feels, you feel like it's not working, whatever it is, talk to your healthcare, your medical provider. You talk to them about it, so therefore they can adjust it. Versus you just saying, I'm just going to stop taking it and I'm just going to try to figure it out on my own, and it's just going to be between me and the Lord. Because in our community, remember, it's taboo to be talking about the issues that we deal with. So guess what? How many of y'all done heard in the Black community, I don't know, I got Jesus. I know my mama is so anti-counseling. She like, I got Jesus. Everything, I got Jesus. I'm always going to be an advocate for counselors because I feel like he works through us as counselors. I feel like a counselor can be God sent. So yes, you got Jesus, but Jesus could have very well sent sheep to you. Jesus is still working, but he sent sheep to you to deliver this message to you. So you still got your God or whoever, but you got somebody in the flesh to help you as well. That was God sent. That was sent by Jesus. And a lot of people just, they negate that part. They don't think about the fact that he sends people to you. People will show up in your life and you be like, this person just crossed my path. Or how did this person get on my timeline? Who is this person? Like it be that way. And so with me, I choose to show up and help people in this way, just in these random ways, versus setting up shop and having you to make an appointment to come lie on my couch and then me try to figure out what's going on with you. I no longer have the desire to help people in that way. I once did. But I've come to learn that I can help my way. I'm supposed to help people in a different way. I'm supposed to help people through content creation. I'm supposed to help people when I'm crossing paths with them in the workplace, just random places. I'm supposed to help my neighbor who going through it with her teenage son who's wilding. Because my education, y'all, I can diagnose. I diagnose all the time. Because I'm educated when it comes to mental health. So I see these things, y'all. I went to school for this. This is my background. So I'm not working in that field, but I do it every day. Anybody I come in contact with, I'm doing an assessment. I'm doing an assessment. So people who come to me and neighbors, gee, I'll be like, hey, I bet you that sounds like depression. I can quickly. Depression, ADD, anxiety, I can quickly identify. Bipolar, like, I know my stuff, y'all. I know my stuff. So I'll throw out this to people. Hey, it sounds like it's this. So when you go to the doctor and you need to talk to some people, ask them about this right here. Y'all, like, I don't be wrong on this ish because I studied this. I went to school. I did very well in school. Y'all looking at Dean's List. Y'all, I call y'all the honor students. Y'all, I'm an honor student. Dean's List. I know my ish. I know my stuff. I love studying people. I love studying behaviors. And it's rooted in you all asking questions. So I just pay attention. I ask questions. And I'll tell you all, hey, go ask these questions. So someone talking about wanting to end it all, start with depression. Get online, get on the internet, Google depression, Google the symptoms of depression. Start there. Therefore, when you talk to that person or that person gets before a medical provider, they can throw that out. Hey, I feel like I may be suffering from depression. Oh, wow, that's going to get their attention. Well, why do you say that? I'm having thoughts of suicide. This is suicidal. It's called textbook, suicidal ideation. They're going to go from there and they'll probably start having you or the person answer like a bunch of questions or whatever. Y'all, I be giving y'all free game over here. Y'all ain't paying me no $60 an hour to be doing this. But I thought that's how I wanted to serve my community. I thought that was the way I wanted to do it, to set up shop and have people come into an office and talk to me. But that's not how I want to help. I'd rather sit on hours and talk to you all on the internet and help you in this way. Give you the Timu price. Give me a super chat for $2.99. Because, if you send a super chat, your name come up in color and I can see it. So that's what that person did. And I was able to see, like, okay, she's trying to get my attention. My phone needs to be charged. So right now it's like, hopefully my phone's not overheating. So it's not as bright as it was. So it's not so easy for me to see all the comments. Some Bright says, you have been across my timeline more than 4 or 5 times and never listened till now. I see why you were coming across my timeline. Everything happens for a reason. And sometimes the Lord works in mysterious ways. And sometimes to get our attention, He'll keep putting people and things in front of you until you stop and take notice. He'll keep doing it. Everything happens for a reason. Dr. J said 2027 8. Thank you so much for that update. I think we were at exactly, you all, 27 when I went live. But I like to believe, in my heart of heart, I feel like I do God's work every day when I come on live and when I talk. I do. I feel like it is my calling. I feel like that who's supposed to hear me will hear me. They will show up. And I will help who I'm supposed to help. It's that. It ain't no deeper than that. Eric says, oh, wow, you're on fire. I live a pretty good life. I have accomplished everything I set out to accomplish, but I was still sick. Was on medication for years. That's what I say. Some people, it's not about their dollar, the money in their account. They got other stuff. It's their health. It's their health. Some people, health is on point, but it's just like, Sheik, I'm broke, but shit, I got a strong heartbeat. Y'all ever see and take notice how people who struggle with, you ever hear like people who struggle with fertility, and I've looked at it too, and I remember kind of questioning things myself when we were trying to have our second child. So after we had my first, got pregnant really easy. Then the second one, because I planned my first two, with having kids. And so I'm like, okay, time to do it again. And I just couldn't get pregnant for like a year. And I just started questioning things. And I took notice that the crackhead never has a problem conceiving. Have y'all ever noticed that the drug addicts, the crackheads, the people who just doing the absolute most out here, they be just as healthy, living a long time, walking these streets? How many of you have seen a crackhead, somebody who were down and out, just walking the streets for years? For years. Or every time you turn around somebody that don't need to be having no kids, you hearing they pregnant. And you over here praying to all the gods, lighting all the candles, getting all the prayers, doing all the seances. And you feeling like you can't get your dream, your prayer answered for you and your husband. Because you over here married. You got her over there ain't married no dang body. You got 8 kids. Get pregnant literally at once a year, and you're trying to figure out how, Sway. Don't tell me I'm the only one that question this ish, where you looking and you be like, damn, how they able to constantly do this, and I'm over here and I'm trying to do it the right way and I can't even do it, but they over here doing the most, and every chance I turn around, they're pregnant, they're having a baby, they can't even feed the kids, but they constantly having these babies. How, Sway? You see some of them do content creation, and they having baby on top of baby, and you just trying to get you one. You just like, God, Lord Jesus, I just need one. I just want one. I don't care if it's a boy or girl. I don't even care if you give me multiples at one time. I just want one. And it's not happening for them. But they see all these other people, and they see it's happening for them. This is the example of how I say that how one person may be winning in one area, They may be taking an L or feeling like they're taking an L in another area of their life. So they're looking to another person who, in that area of their life, their health is superb. They broke. They keep knocking on your window every time you go to the traffic light on your way to work, asking you for money. But their health is just there's nothing their health seems fine. You didn't learn that they got a baby on the way, and you're like, how, how, Sway? Everybody don't go through it the same way. Everybody don't go through it the same way. So I can't, just because what Eric say, oh, well, my money looking right, but my health not on point. I can't look at him and be like, well, you ain't got nothing to be sad about. I mean, you can pay your bills. I'm over here trying to figure out how I'm going to pay college and pay my mortgage. So, I mean, you said your health ain't that good. I mean, so what? I mean, at least you can pay your bills. You know what I'm saying? I can't follow up with at least you can pay your bills. And Eric follow up with at least you got your good health. You see? Because we all go through things. And I can't discount the next person's struggle because it's different than mine. And people do that all the time. People do that all the time. That just because somebody's situation looks different from theirs, they think that they ain't got no problems. We look at Elon Musk or even Donald Trump, the President Trump, and we see what their money looking like. We don't know what their health looking like. We know that their money long, but we don't know if their life expectancy is long. How about that? What good is the money if you're not even here to spend it? What good is the money if you're not even here to spend it? Health is wealth. Health is wealth. There are probably a number of people who would trade and say, Sheik, if I can have my health back to where it was, where it should be, this money that you see me have, I'll give up most of it. I'll give up most of it. I know how to make money. Here, shit, you can just take it all. Let me start all over. I know how to get to it. I got to it before. I just I do it over again. I get to the money again. I know how to make money. I know how to make money. How many of you feel like, listen, give me the health. Take the money. I'll make more money. I just want my health. Got a lot of people out here that can't buy good health. They can't buy good health. They like, Sheik, you don't understand how bad. Y'all seen recently in the media, y'all familiar with the rapper Bootsy? Lil Bootsy. And he got into a car accident. And earlier this week, I seen him on a video. He was doing like an Instagram live. And he was talking about how much pain he is in his chest. Y'all, this is a man who's getting to it. He just has 9th baby. His fiance just gave birth to a baby girl named 7. But his body, his health isn't the best. He's lost weight. He was like, y'all, I am in pain. I just wanted to go away. He was pleading. I could feel the energy through when I was watching him on my phone. I could feel it. Because he was like, y'all, I'm in so much pain. Can y'all help me? Drop in the comments. Somebody threw out something about cayenne pepper. So listen, he was taking notes because he's so desperate to want to feel good again, to where he can't even think about the money, the bag he been getting to, because he like, y'all, I'm just in pain. I'm just tired of, I literally will be on the stage and get off the stage and go straight to the hospital, go straight to the ER, because that's how much pain I'm in. And they can't tell me really what's wrong. But I know something right. Y'all, it hurt. What am I supposed to do? This is the example of someone their struggle ain't centered around the money like a lot of working class people. Their struggle is centered around their health. Their struggle is centered around their health. So I can't look at him and be like, Bootsy, get off of Beyonce. You got all the money in the world. I ain't trying to hear your cries. I got to figure out how to pay this mortgage. That's dismissive, because I understand that sometimes people are not good. This is a mind, body, and soul type situation. Sometimes people aren't good. So just because they're not good, if in the physical, that don't mean that they're good in my eyes just because their money is good. No, no, no. No, no, no. Just because President Trump or Elon Musk or any of them rich ones are good when it comes to their finances, it don't mean that they are good. It don't mean that their body is good. That's a lot of you. How many of you, your finances are good, but your health isn't? How many of you, your health is good, but your bank account ain't? How many of you like Sheik, I'm just bad all the way around? Or how many of you are like Sheik, I'm good all the way around? That's the small category right there. The person who says, I got wealth in my health and my bank account, that's the rare commodity. That's the rare one right there. That is the rare one right there. That's the rare one right there. Most people got something going on with them. So we have to acknowledge that. We have to check on our people, check on our loved one, like someone was concerned about their brother. I'm happy to hear that it has your attention. I'm happy to hear, I'm happy to know that you made your way in my life. Because now you know, hey, I got some homework to do. Sheik mentioned depression. Let me get on this internet. Let me get on this Diddy internet. Let me get on this Shadur Sanders internet and see what this depression thing is about. Because she threw out the word depression. Depression. Let me research. What is depression? What are the symptoms of depression? Okay. Suicidal ideation. That is a symptom of depression. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is what I'm seeing take place with my loved one, my brother, my sister, my mom, or even myself. What does it talk about? How we can remedy this? What can we do to remedy this? What am I supposed to do? Who can I talk to? Okay, I'm limited on funds. I don't have money. I don't have insurance. Is there a 1-800 number? Is there a number I can call? You all, there's resources out there. You have to explore them. You have to explore them. They are out there. They are out there. The answers are out there. But the answer is not going to be to ignore it and to have the condition go untreated. There are some conditions that can be treated without medication. But the responsible person will consult a medical physician, a professional, be honest and forthcoming on what they're experiencing, and listen to what that doctor's recommendations are. Because there are some things that you do not have to manage with medication. There are some things that through marijuana you can manage. You just have to explore these things. It's rooted in asking questions. As I say, every live I have, smart people ask questions. Ask questions. Ask questions. The goal is to get an answer, and you may have to ask multiple people. Don't stop. Keep going. The answer is out there. The answer is out there. Go in prayer. Ask and you shall receive. Go in prayer. The answer is out there. Don't give up on your loved ones. Take notice of these changes that you're seeing in them. Take notice that they're in their room a lot. They're not talking that much. Take notice of the change in the behaviors. Take notice in, here's another sign, you all, as I talk about signs of depression. Because I recognize depression very easily. Someone who isolates themselves from people, who choose to kind of stay in the house or stay in the room, but just kind of want to just stay away from people. And someone who starts giving their things away. You notice someone who, you notice they stay kind of away from people, and then you're noticing that they're giving their things away. Someone who's saying that they don't sleep much. See, the sleep can go either way. They can sleep a lot, but then they can also not sleep much. So there's levels to it. There's levels to it. You have some people who may stay in their room all day and all they do is sleep. But then you're also going to have some that's not sleeping. So pay attention to the sleep. If it's not balanced, if it's too much or not enough, pay attention to that. Food. Pay attention to their eating habits. They used to eat more and now they're not eating. You're seeing a lot of weight. They've lost a lot of weight. Just get on the internet and research these things. Just type in your questions that you have. Just type in the questions that you have and just see what information comes back. And that information, it may prompt other questions. That's fine. That's fine. Continue to probe. So put that question now in there. Keep going. Keep going. Don't stop. Because the goal is to get to a solution. That's the goal. And the goal is to do it before time runs out. And when I say time runs out, if you're doing it for someone else before they've just made their decision and they're just not here with us. So early intervention with any of these things, like all that I'm saying, early intervention is just going to be like a game changer. The earlier, the better. The earlier, the better. And if any of you are going through any of these things, the sooner you go and talk to someone, and when I say talk to someone, talk to a professional, a medical professional. You can start by talking to someone close to you to say, yo, like, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm feeling. You can start there. But I need for you to talk to a professional. I need for you to talk to a professional and get direction on what you should be doing to navigate through these times. You have to. And those of you who are believers and have a high belief, you can continue to believe in your Lord, your Savior, your whoever. Continue to do that. But you have to also do that while also consulting with a medical professional as well. God works through people. So just because I'm saying, hey, she's saying talk to someone, a person, that's not me saying to not be moved by faith and all of that. What I'm saying is that you have to be open that he can be working through a person. That person can be God sent to be here to save your life by telling you what to do to help you through these trying times. God positioned people in your life to help you during these trying times, right? Like how many of y'all ever been going through something and then it's like that right person just got plopped into your life? And you felt like it was right on time. What they say, he may not come when you want him to, but what? He always right on time. The Lord is always right on time. He's always right on time. All things happen for a reason. I do not believe in coincidences, and I don't believe that any of you are here by coincidence, and I don't believe I'm saying what I'm saying on this live by coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. I truly believe I'm doing God's work, and I truly believe that even though I'm not in an office building providing therapeutic services, I still feel like I'm helping people in this type of way. So I don't feel like my education was a waste. because it allows for me still to be here with you all and to share the information that I've learned. And I'm giving you all this information for free, just for the support of you just being here, just liking the video, me saying, hey, just like the video, share, subscribe. Y'all, like, listen, it's the little things for me. It's the little things. And so this is what I'm about. I'm a natural giver. I like to help people. I talk. I've been on here for 184 minutes because I like to help people. And I always say, as long as you show up, I will show up. And that's what I do. And people show up, and by the thousands, a lot of people show up. And, people out here need help. People just don't know. Mia says, hi, is or are the meds for a lifetime? Thank you. Amen. You're heaven sent. They can be. They can be. It depends. More often than not, people who have severe mental health illness, like your bipolar, your schizophrenia, those personality disorders, those are likely to be a lifetime. But things like ADHD, things like that, those are some things that you can manage without meds. That's what I did for my two sons, at an early age when they were in grade school. They were diagnosed with the ADHD. So here's the thing. So let me teach y'all. Y'all about to learn something else. Like the video. So there was once ADHD and ADD on the record. Attention deficit disorder. And then the ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So at one point you had two of them on the books. You now only have one. You just have, you have I think the ADHD one might be the one that's on the books. So not everyone who struggles with like attention, right, maintaining focus and stand on task, not everyone is hyperactive. So my sons, they weren't hyperactive, but they constantly needed to be redirected with their attention. So, for example, my oldest son, at the time in school, when he was maybe like a fourth grader, what he may do is say while a teacher is standing up in the front of the classroom teaching, he may just mentally kind of check out and pull out a book and just start to read. So he's not been a distraction to anyone. He's not been a distraction to anyone, but he's literally pulled out a book and just started reading. He like, listen, I'm about to quietly do this. So that's what he would do. But it was a struggle with holding his attention. So that's when we made an appointment. Our medical provider at the time was Kaiser, and we ended up seeing the psychiatrist, the psychologist, whichever one, the psychologist, one of those. We ended up seeing him, and he said, hey, yes, it's different levels to the ADD, the ADHD. Your son does not have hyperactive. He don't have that part, but he struggles, according to these tests and things and the questions we ask, he struggles with just staying focused. So he prescribed a medication. My husband and I have never been a couple that was been into medications. We just never was into that. But this was our oldest child, so it was our first time kind of experiencing anything like this. So he prescribed a medication. So we went home, we gave him the medication. So at this point, he's like 10. So we gave him the medication, which was like a pill. Child, he ended up saying his head hurt. Listen, we never gave that boy no medication since then. Listen, he had a headache. That was enough for us. Oh, he got a headache. He can't take the medicine. He got a headache. There's a side effect. He got a headache. So we never gave him any more medicine. But my husband and I knew that he struggled with attention. So what we did, since we knew, okay, he's not taking medicine to help with that, what we did, we constantly had to, it's almost like you're constantly repeating yourself, where you have to kind of guide them and say, okay, do this, and you see they didn't do it, and you repeat yourself. So we did a lot of repeating with him to kind of, bring his attention back to where it needs. So say if he needs to take the trash out, we may, instead of say someone else, another kid, you tell them once, they'll do it. We may have to have told them maybe 2 or 3 times. So my husband and I were willing to put in that work because we had been doing it anyway, because we didn't know, he hadn't been diagnosed with anything. So we were doing it anyway with constantly like repeating ourselves. So now we had an understanding of why we're repeating ourselves. So we just knew what we had to do. Patience. Someone said we had patience for him. We knew what we needed to do. Every time, you all, thereafter that, every time we'd have parent-teacher conference, and he had an IEP on file, so Independent Educational Plan. That's what that stands for. Every time we'd meet with the teachers, they would be so surprised of how he functions in school, given that he wasn't medicated. Remember, we took him to the doctor. They prescribed medication. But my husband and I weren't comfortable with it. Listen, the boy got a headache, and we threw the whole we said, he got a headache. So we said we weren't going to do the medication. Listen, we got scared because we'd never dealt with this before. So we continued to have patience and just kind of prompt him, tell him things multiple times. And it worked. My son is 20 years old. He's second year, finishing up his second year in college. Never been regularly medicated. His only time of having medication was that one day when he was 10, when we came home and gave him the prescription for the first time, because I think he's supposed to take it like twice a day. He took it just that one. We never gave it to him again. He's 20 years old now. He has thrived. He has been an honor student. He has been a Georgia Hope College recipient where he received, listen, he has been winning without medication. But my husband and I we had to do our part and say, okay, if he's not going to be on medication, we got to recognize that it's going to be a village where we're having to repeatedly tell him, do this, do that. I was concerned about the day he would go off to college where we weren't going to be there to prompt him repeatedly, do this, do that. Do y'all know? See, this is how kids will play. Literally the prompting to the point of getting up on time. Me, daddy, grandmama trying to get him up on time. I was so worried about with him going off to college. I'm like, he gonna flunk out because he ain't gonna go to class because he ain't finna get up on time. Y'all, when I say this boy's first year went to college, he understood the assignment and did everything that he was supposed to do without anybody telling him what he was supposed to do, like it was damn second nature. I said, I know you effing lying. I know you ain't at college waking up by yourself. I know you ain't at college turning in stuff on time. I see you, but this is a result of my husband and I. We had patience. We had patience on him. And we knew, we was like, he gonna get it. We got to keep doing it. It's gonna maybe take longer than the average person for it to click. But baby, when that thing clicked, it's clicking. When I say we don't worry about him at school, he gives us nothing to worry about. But this was a child literally throughout his life. We had to repeatedly tell him, turn your assignments in, son. Make sure you get the credit. Son, check your grades on time, son. Son, you got to get up on time, son. Son, you got to get on the bus, son. When he went off to school, y'all, he worked it out without all of that prompting, without no medication. So for certain conditions, it can be done. It can be done. But there are a lot of conditions where it can't, where you do need help. You do need the medicine. True one, it's a village. It was literally a village with my boys. So my second son, who's 16, he'll be 17 in July. The same way. But I'm noticing now the prompting that we were once doing with him, like we were doing with his older brother, This past school year was been a change. It's like when he turned 16, like this, it hasn't been any of that. So sometimes for some, it just clicks later. But then there are some that will need that extra help where you may have to get the prescription, get the medication. And that's okay too. But what I say is talk to your healthcare provider, talk to a professional. Be honest with them. Talk to them about what's going on, what you're seeing, what you're experiencing. Because that's the only way that's the best way they can help you. Because if you're telling them lies, think about it. If you're going to someone for help and you're telling them lies, they're going to give you an answer based on what you're telling them, right? So what good, how does that serve you? You have to be honest. You have to be honest. So my husband and I knew our sons, they struggled in a way that our daughter, who's 15, never struggled with. She just gets it. Gifted student. But her brothers, their brains didn't work like hers. She's the youngest and the only girl. The two boys that are older than her, their brains worked very similar. So they're different. They are kids, same mother and father, but they're different. So we take that into account as we raise them. We don't raise them and talk to them the same. We meet them where they are. The conversation I have with my daughter on some levels is going to be different than the conversations I have with my son, because you meet them where they are. You don't raise the kid. You don't treat you treat them the same by being fair. But at the same time, as you're raising them, you have to take notice of the little different things that's going on with each of them. You gotta, because you're gonna notice that it's something different that's transpiring with each of them. So you gotta deal with that thing. So as you're dealing with that thing, you still show that you're fair to everyone. But somebody may need some more attention when it comes to rearing and reinforcement than the other one. They're different. It's fine. It's fine. But you have to acknowledge that that's sometimes what you have to do. Jason Smith said, my God, how true is that statement about you meet them where they are? Nika said, maybe a support group would help. The carpenter said, finally someone on here talking truth and positivity. That's what it is. My life has been like, when I talk to people, I meet you where you are. So with my children, I've met them where they've been. Like my daughter, she's a high. She's just not average in anything. Like she's just naturally above average with everything. But you all see how crazy genetics are? I'm talking to you all about the story with my sons. And then my daughter, completely different experience. Completely different experience from like out the womb. When she was 3, intellectually, she was already. So my oldest one is 5 years above my youngest one. So all my kids are within 5 years. At 3 years old, my daughter intellectually was more advanced than my sons. It is what it is, y'all. I ain't come on here to lie to nobody. My daughter was intellectually more advanced than my sons. She was different. She was different. So there was different types of experiences that I had with her, with raising her, because she was naturally someone who came. Y'all ever see, some of y'all might be those people where you just get it. You be like, how the hell they know that? She's one of those people. She just advanced, gifted, honors, all the whatever classes, the special names that you call for the ones that just be on a whole nother level. That's her. That's her all her life. Not some of her life, all her life. And not only is she advanced with an academia like that, when she plays sports, she's like that with soccer. Everything this girl does, you all, she does it on a, she do it on a whole nother level. She does everything on an entirely different level. Same mother, same father. She was that kid, y'all. We didn't have to have like the parent-teacher conferences. They be like, Miss Taylor, you want to talk on the phone? Or when they come, they're having conversations with me about how she felt a certain type of way, that she got one wrong and she wasn't happy with the explanation they gave as to why she didn't get it right. She was that child. She was that child. But here it is. That's the conversation I had with her teacher. But a conversation I'm having with my boy's teacher is, hey, he pulled out a book randomly in the middle of lesson. Or, hey, he's not turning in assignments on time. But he's a good boy. They're good boys. They're well. My kids are well behaved. But like he's not talking. He's not letting us know when he's still having issues with things, and not letting us know he needs additional help. Different kind of conversations. You meet them where they are. I met each one of them where they are. And I kept the faith that they were going to eventually get it. Eric said, look at God. Jason says, please help me. My granddaughter just come home and got in trouble for cursing. She is 6. I am begging for help. Well, if she went to school and she said a bad word, that means that thank you, Nika. That means that she heard that somewhere. It's learned behavior. It's learned behavior. So what you have to do, since she's smart enough to say bad words, you're dealing with a very smart little girl. She's very smart. This is a smart child. So don't think that, oh, she's only 6, I can't talk to her. No, no, no. So you can have 26-year-olds, 20 kids that are 6. You're going to have some of those 6-year-olds that are going to be more developed and more advanced than the next 6-year-old. So with that being said, you can't have the same conversation with every 6-year-old. My daughter at 6 was never in line intellectually with all the other 6-year-olds. Remember, I said she was advanced. I took notice of it when she was 3, maybe 2. She potty trained her own self. She's just always been advanced. So I knew that I can talk to her in a way that maybe the average person couldn't talk to their 6-year-old. So if you have a 6-year-old that's going to school, cussing folks out, giving them the straight business, you have an advanced 6-year-old. This is a 6-year-old you can sit and have a conversation with and say, hey, let's talk. Why did you say that? She's going to say it. She's going to say whatever. Where did you learn that from? It's not about you getting in trouble in this moment. I'm trying to understand. Where did you learn that from? Well, I heard mommy said that, you have to accept the responses that they're about to give. Because they may end up saying, I heard it from you. You have to be ready for that. Because kids, with the things that they do is learned behaviors. These are learned behaviors. So you got to be ready and be willing to accept the response that you are going to get anytime you're asking anybody a question, whether it's an adult or a kid. Where did you learn this from? And when the response that you get, you got to be willing to accept that response and make some changes there. If she say, hey, I learned it from you, you now got to work on yourself. If she say she learned it from somebody else and that you heard, you now have to go to that person and have a conversation with them about where they heard it from. I've had my daughter, the same daughter I'm talking about, say things to me, and it's like, where'd you hear that from? And she'll say, I overheard the teachers talking. What? Like not that the teachers said those things directly, but kids, they listen to ear hustling. Two adults over here having a conversation. They're thinking that they're out of hearing range and they're just having just adult conversations. And the daughter's like, oh, well, I heard the teachers say that. So anytime something's happening with your children, you have to get down to, where did you learn this from? That includes me. I have a 16-year-old and nearing 17-year-old dealing with stuff with school. Son, where did you learn that from? This is out of character. Where is this coming from? And what I'm dealing with right now is that in the past, when he's gotten in trouble for anything similar, not disciplining him harshly enough in the way he should have. In the way we should have disciplined him. So that's something I deal with. I should have went harder on him. I shouldn't have been so lax, because had I been harder, we may not have had him to repeat this on this type of level not that long. Like you have to take responsibilities, and we have to be accountable. And it's rooted in accountability. Anytime we want to really help, we got to be willing to hold ourselves accountable and hold adults accountable when it comes to children. So my accountability as a parent is me thinking about the passes that I've given my sons, say in comparison to the passes I may have maybe given my daughter. Remember, they're different. And sometimes we may want to give more passes to that child who we feel like is struggling more than that other child, because we're trying to coddle them. How many of y'all know about coddling? Especially mamas with your sons, you're coddling them. You're harder on your daughters than your sons. Maybe that was you, where you seen your parents was harder on you than your brothers. So when you do that, you're stuck having to deal with the consequences of that, because now I'm thinking like, well, damn, he done went and did this. Had I taken this tone with him when he did that, maybe we wouldn't even be here. And y'all, it's even worse when you have a daughter. Remember, I told you my daughter advanced. When the daughter checks you and be like, yeah, I figure he'll probably redo it, because when he got in trouble the last time, he was able the next day go do this and that, whatever, with the girlfriend. How many of y'all got kids like that that has no problem pointing out the error of your ways? That's the type of daughter I have. All her life, she will insert, I call it unsolicited opinions on my parenting. She will give her unsolicited opinions, but this is how it is. It's just the real deal, Holyfield. Like, it is what it is. So as adults, we got to be accountable for our actions and how we showing up for our kids, or how we're not. Oh my goodness. I'll tell my husband, like, oh, my daughter said this. He be like, see, that's the problem. You keep talking to her. You need to stop talking to her. I'm like, who else I'm supposed to talk to? I'm going through it. These boys, your son's sending me through it. I need somebody. I need somebody. So, but it be like that. Like, your kids will hold you accountable. They will hold you accountable. Jason said, little girl, thank you so much. We are friends for life. You right. You know, Jason, your kids will hold you accountable. But don't get mad when they calling you on your stuff. It's just how you do it. Just being respectful. And my daughter, she's respectful, but she gonna say like, well, it's so funny. So when my son got in trouble at school, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe like he just went and did this same thing. And it just seemed like it just wasn't that long ago. Do you know my daughter was able to say, oh no, yeah, it was like February 14th, because yes, I remember he got in trouble. And then the next day he asked to go out with his girlfriend, and he went and saw a movie with his girlfriend. Y'all see what she just did? Y'all see what she just did? She done told me, Mama, I don't know why you acting crazy and surprised, because when he got in trouble the last time, the next day you and Daddy gave him a ride. she, Kids watch. She's paying attention. This is what kids do. Yeah, that's my daughter. I just have one. One daughter. She's the youngest. She's 15. But y'all, this is what she gives. She will like be like, "Lo, like I'm paying attention. I'm seeing what you're doing. I see what you did the last time when he got in trouble and how you handled it." She took notes. She at 15. Jason said, "Jesus." She at 15 knew that Mama and Daddy didn't handle this right. They fell for his tears. She knew. She knew. So when I think back to, think about this situation, and, you think about what you could have done differently. That's my accountability. It's my accountability. Like, oh, okay. Well, he did this at home. This is how we handled it. Then he went to school and did that. So we're here again because maybe had we handled it differently when he did it at home, we wouldn't be here dealing with what's transpired at school. It's accountability, so I own it. But this is, I give you all real life examples. This is, I'm not exempt to any of these things that I say. Edgar says, I like to subscribe to your channel because I love you. You're the best YouTuber in the world. Thank you so much, Edgar. Like, I come out here. I just talk real stuff. I talk politics. I've been on here for a long time. And sometimes it calls for me to be out here longer than norm because I'm moved to share things that people need to hear. I truly believe I'm doing God's work. And so I come out here and I talk and I give real life examples. So you all know you're not alone. You're not alone. Other people are going through things in this world. It's not just you. Don't ever think it's just you with anything you go through. Don't ever think it's just you. Because I guarantee you, once you get out of, get out of whatever you feeling, you remove yourself from your comfort zone and start sharing your story and talking to people, they're going to hit you with, oh yeah, I know what you're saying. I got a similar story. Or I know somebody who's going through that. But you'll start to see that it's not just you. It's never just you. There's nothing we go through that we're the only ones that experience that. Like divorce, people go through divorce. Having a co-parent, people have to struggle with that. Kids getting kicked out of school, people have to deal with that. Kids cussing, embarrassing you, saying things that they shouldn't say. This is a part of life. So what can help you navigate through these trying times that you will endure is to think that if they can get through it, I can get through it. Jason said, I know I got one granddaughter and she is my world. Yes, girls are different, but you got to talk to them. You got to talk to them, just your kids in general. But take notice if you have advanced children. Don't think, oh, well, they're only 6 or they're only 10, so I can only talk to them this way. No, you have to evaluate and you have to determine if this is an advanced 6-year-old or 10-year-old or 13-year-old. My daughter's always been advanced. She's always been at least 5 years ahead intellectually. So if she was 3, 4, so she was like 8 intellectually, probably like at 3. Like she's just always been advanced. She just has. So I've never just talked with her on the level of like a person for her age. But how I talk to her, I'm not going to talk to someone else's, another child, her age, like the same way. Because she's my child and I know where she is intellectually. So I know what level I can talk to her on. Someone else's child, I don't know. So I have to kind of watch them. Just have a regular conversation with them, just like I would with an adult to see where their mind is. That's what I call meet people where they are. You meet people where they are. So you just listen. You engage in conversation. You let them talk. You listen to what they're saying. You listen to what they're not saying. Because a lot of times what somebody is not saying is very telling. Sarah Jean said, if you don't tell them someone you don't want, we'll tell them instead. There is an age-appropriate discussion, right? That's why I say you meet the kids where they are. You decide like intellectually where they can have, but at every age, you can have the conversation with them. So the message for the day, meet people where they are. Meet people where they are. If someone is showing that they're not in a good place, take it serious. Make it very clear. Make it very, very clear to them that you are there as their support. And talk to someone. Even if you talk to someone on their behalf, talk to someone to try to get some information about what they may be going through. Jason said there's power in your testimony. I always say everyone has a testimony. So never be afraid to share your testimony. Everyone has a testimony. I've shared my testimony many a times. I think all kinds of personal stories on my channel because I know that people can learn from it. We don't have to always experience everything for ourselves. Like, we really don't. You don't. We can learn from one another. And I think if more people did that, more people would be taking less L's. We do not have to experience everything for ourselves. And if you see anyone displaying any disturbing behaviors, ask them about that. Ask them why. Ask them where they learned it from, why they are doing it. And you want to most importantly learn like the lesson that they've learned from the experience to assure you that it's not going to happen again. Okay, they say, I just celebrated 3 years of sober. I know that's right. Congratulations to that. That's work. Oh, that I understand. That's work. That is work. So that is definitely an accomplishment. That is accomplishment. Continue on because you can. Sarah says, be an example. Continue to be an example for people, KK. Sarah Jean says, I've showed my kindergarten age child what happens to your lips when you share with others and share and take what she wants, then give them the rest only. Yes. Thrash mouth. Jason said, I'm listening and crying. Listen, I need to get out of here. Listen, I had a lot to say on today's live today, and every time I go live, it's meant to enlighten. It's not meant to anger people, to taunt people. It's never that. It's always rooted in enlightenment, learning, teaching, because I learned from you all just as you learned from me. That's what it's about, and that's why I like content creation, and I choose to do this instead of therapy work. I'd rather just help people in this way. Um, it's just my personal preference of how I choose to help people. So definitely like, share, and subscribe. You can become a member of my channel. I just started launch last weekend the memberships for this channel. They're just $2.99. So become a political honor student. And if you are a member, your name will show up in color, and I'll be able to more easily see the comments you make anytime you're in the chat. You can also send a super chat for however much you want. Your name will also show up in color, as well as any comment that you have. If there's anything ever that you're like, hey, Sheik, I need your attention, I got a question, that's going to be the best way, because it can get crazy in this chat. Sometimes it can be thousands of comments in here. Thousands of people come through. I'm sure thousands of people came through today. I just never really know the numbers until I end the live. But I know it's a lot of people that come through. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing, because that means that I'm circulating an algorithm and people are finding my content and coming by to visit to see what this lady with the locks is talking about. Those of you, some people comment on my hair. My hair is locked, so it's not braids. It's locked. It's just a crinkly braid out style, so it's locked. Listen, I'm a natural girly. So I'm always bareface, just natural. That's just, listen, Linda, listen. Listen, that's all I got. Is listen. That's all I got. I'm just a natural girly, and I come out here and I talk my talk. Sarah says, please try to be better than you were yesterday. You all can do it. I like that. I like that. Thank you, Jason, for stopping by. Sarah Jean says, show some love for our hostess and hit the like before y'all leave. Thank you, Sarah. Nika said, well, sure. Thank you. Thank you. AK said, we need a complete list of the damage done by Trump and Musk doggy team. Listen, today's day 98 of Trump being in office. Tuesday will be day 100. So stay tuned. I will be going live. On Tuesdays, I do Car Chronicles, so stay tuned. So I do that in the mornings around 7:15 a.m. So if you are interested in hearing what I have to say, we will talk about, Trump per usual and the first 100 days. And I just would love to know how you all feel about I would love to know how you all feel about his performance in the first 100 days come Tuesday, because today's been 98 days. Dr. Dre said, currently we at 2,800 subscribers. Thank you so much. Road to 3,000. She said, by Friday, we can do it. We can do it. So that'll be our goal for the channel by Friday, to hit the goal for 3,000 subscribers. Dr. J is also a content creator. If you're interested in hearing content centered around education. And yeah, you can definitely check out her channel. Dr. J, please share your YouTube channel in the comments. She just recently hit 50 subscribers, so she's now able to go live. So apparently, I didn't know that, in order to go live, you had to have at least like 50 subscribers. It's been when I first started YouTube. And as a content creator on my second channel, I have another channel. I did pre-record, so you didn't need to have 50 subscribers for that. You just upload your video. So she taught me something new about the 50 subscribers to go live. So now you all know, if any of you who are interested in starting a channel, you need 50 subscribers to go live. So definitely follow her. Looks like she dropped her link in the video. B. Wright says, I got to get with you. I'm a CPRS, and everything you said I've learned in my training. So I know you the real, but I still need help. Send me an email. Dr. J, can you input my email in the chat? You can drop me. So send me an email. chicspeakslive@gmail.com. Send me an email, and we can kind of go from there. So, yeah, I know a thing or two when it comes to mental health counseling. It's just, I live it every day as I help people. And as a human being, I go through things too. So, I know when I'm not in the best place. I know, okay, what I need to do in order to, to get better, to get to that better place, right? So one big lesson that we are taught in school is that therapists, doctors, we need counselors too. We need help too. We need people to talk to as well, because it's so much information that we take on when we listen to people's stories, to where we need someone to talk to as well. So that falls underneath self-care. So we're taught the importance of self-care. Self-care. So I have to do self-care as well, just like you all have to do self-care. You have to do self-care. I like to end my lives by saying, go out into the world and show up in a way in which you want others to show up for you, meaning like attracts like. Give off the same energy that you want to be given onto you. Take care of yourselves and one another. Heavy on the take care of yourself. Sarah said, have a beautiful day, Miss Lady. We are valued, and someone will be born if we were missing from life. No one is allowed to quit. I like to say, no one's allowed to quit. Harrison says, hi, where are you from? I am from California, Northern California. I currently live in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta. I currently live in Georgia, Metro Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm from Northern California in the Bay Area. The Bay Area. So take care of yourselves and one another. Heavy on the taking care of yourself, because so often we're focused on everybody else and we're not putting enough energy on ourselves. And that's not good. You have to take care of home. Anytime I say take care of home, that's you. If you're not good, no one else is going to be good. Your kids not going to be good. Your spouse not going to be good. You got to take care of you. Mind, body, and soul. Some of you may have been with me. I'll do my walk and talks. I believe in trying to, stay healthy, stay fit as I can be. So my favorite form of exercise is walking. So I usually on the weekends will do a walk and talk. Today, I wanted to go live through StreamYard and show you some videos and things, but listen, child, it was acting up. It acted like it didn't even know who I was. So I had to end that live and then jump to the phone, the old faithful phone, and go live so I can get this message out to each and every one of you. So make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And you can just show up by just simply watching the content. If you do nothing else, watch the content, subscribe. That goes a long way for me. That goes a long way for me. So have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Sunday. And I will catch you all on the next broadcast.